And good evening. Hey, John, welcome in, welcome in. And here we go. It is that time of year. It is that time of year. Baseball over the place. World Baseball Classic. We're less than 2 weeks away from opening day. We've been showing off. I haven't checked to see whether the new beta yet has dropped on Payoff Pitch, but we've been showing that. We showed a beta of Strategy Baseball last week, but and all those things are awesome. And now tonight, finally, welcome to Out of the Park 27. So I know for a lot of people coming in here, you've seen me play this game before, but I thought this way we might just start doing kind of a broad overview of Out of the Park 27. We'll talk about some of the things that are new, but I'm going to assume that for those of you who are new to the game, you know, watch this part of the video. If you've been here a while, just hang tight. All right, so here we go. Um, I have to say, man, this is the nicest splash screen of this game ever. It's just beautiful looking. It really, really is. And there's been some improvements. I would say that with a game like Out of the Park Baseball, I think people are waiting for those big, massive, massive updates. But with a game like Out of the Park Baseball, you're not going to really see a change. You're gonna keep seeing graphics get enhanced, and you're going to see these changes. You're going to have to be playing the game a lot in terms of like the on-field action to see like new animations and stuff like that. I will say that the uniforms really pop. To see a Ashpole said that Out of the Park dropped today. Yes, coming on. It's always appreciate the stream, man. Appreciate you being here. How you doing, Philip? Good to see you. All right, so Out of the Park 27 has made there's a lot of improvements. I've been calling this one kind of the stat head edition of Out of the Park 27, and you'll see what I mean. The amount of stats that are in this game now are pretty crazy, and I think hey, Nathaniel, and there's Jack Dawson. Well, Jack Dawson's already he's fixed up the broadcast for us. He says, "My brother, it's amazing." So there we go, guys. It really is. I mean, Out of the Park to me is it is the emperor or the empress. So there we go. We can be in either way of digital baseball games, of text based baseball games. It just is. We would call I guess we could call Action PC the princess or prince because they're very close, right next in line to the throne. But just what you can do in Out of the Park Baseball is huge and amazing. But again, I think that a lot of people know. Hey, Christopher, there you go. He says, "Need to know how this works." You know how Out of the Park Baseball works. Ugh, you guys. I don't know what I'm going to do about you, Chris. But anyhow, there's a lot of new things added. So I will say this: you're going to see a plethora of new statistics categories and stuff like that. I think what's really nice about it is that you can really, really get more deep into the season that you're simming or the project that you're doing or whatever, which I think is really fun. There's been some improvements in animations. As you'll see when we get into a game, I love the new in-game UI, the way they've opened up the field more, things like that. Um, so we're going to be looking for Drive for the Pennant. So the other thing too is they've added game difficulties to this. So if you really want a challenge, and you're playing with trades on and things like that, believe me, it's tough. It will play you tough if you play at the Hall of Fame difficulty. I would suggest for your first go through and Out of the Park 27 to play the play majors. That's the default difficulty. There is minors, but it's really really easy. The other thing the new trade AI will do is rather than try to stack a team for its, just trying to get the best players, it's actually going to try to fill in where it needs things. So again, if you play with trades enabled and stuff like that in your project, so maybe you might be doing it's not ready to go yet, but when you do like when you're playing with the 2026 season, if any of you do that, you're going to find it can be tough. But even in any season that you're playing, if you allow trades, and of course you can disable them, It's completely been rewritten from the ground up. Um, God, what else? Just a lot. Weather effects are better. So I would say that in terms of baseball sims, as far as looks, this one is as close as you're going to get to a game like MLB The Show. And just a side note on MLB The Show, kind of sad to see them just sort of doing. They're kind of just coasting along right now. They've really added nothing, and I just hope that that game will eventually be released on PC. Just open it up, let PC players mod it, and I think you're going to see amazing things. That being said, though, this will still remain the king of digital baseball sims. So when I say that, I'm talking about what most folks in the community would call a closed engine. So we're not talking about things like payoff pitch or digital diamond, or pocket pennant run. Is those are really kind of hybrid games. But I'm talking like in terms of games like Action PC, Baseball for Windows, things like that are strictly digital, and that's kind of a small market, really, if you think about it. Out of the Park 27 and Digital Diamond Baseball, Baseball for Windows. I guess you could add Strat PC in that if you play Strat PC as a digital game. Konami released a skeleton game called eBaseball, which is Pro Baseball Spirits. Yep, I saw that. Um, it's completely fictional. I was looking at that and I'm like, it's fictional players, so it looks nice. It's nice to see Konami give San Diego Studios a run for its money. Now, if Konami would somehow allow us, even if they didn't license, right? So games like Action PC Baseball, we can use real baseball players. So I wish Konami would do something like that. It looks nice, but I'm not. If I'm going to play that, I might as well play Super Mega Baseball, which is deeper. You got to remember, Pro Baseball Spirits has no franchise mode, anything like that. It's right now just a kind of a one-off game, sort of, which is fine. It looks nice. It doesn't. It's not at the level of MLB The Show, not yet, in terms of graphics. But you know, Super Mega Baseball, for all its cartoony lookingness, if that's a thing, it's every bit as deep as MLB The Show. And so I urge you to give it a try. And you can just create role players in that game too. MV was last year or 2 years ago, whatever it was. Actually put the 1908 Cubs in there, was building teams in it. So they do have a Nippon Pro League game with a franchise mode, but yeah, it's all Japanese. So this is getting the first English version of that. So hopefully that will evolve into something using the majors, because you can't trademark a name or anything like that. So you could have all, everybody who's played baseball, just as Action PC Baseball does it. You don't have to pay for a name. You can't trademark a name. You can't copyright a name that way, like of a person. So like Mickey Mouse is trademarked and copyrighted, but so hopefully they'll do that. All right, so let's look around here. Let's first go up to game settings, because we never really talked too much about game settings. So, of course, you can set and again, for guys that have been around Out of the Park Baseball, probably the first half hour, 20 minutes, a half hour of this is going to be like, yep, I know that. So just hang in there. All right. So, of course, you can change your language if you need be. So I know we have a couple folks from other countries here that might want to try some things a little bit different here. So right now we just have just English and Korean. So hopefully there'll be more language support later. This is, of course, there's 3 skins you can get. The other thing, if you're looking for Mike Silva's ballparks and his uniform mod, they're not in the workshop yet. So I don't know. There's already stuff in the workshop, but I don't know whether Mike just hasn't gotten around to them, or it's one of those things where Steam has to, I guess, approve stuff or whatever. So you can manually install them if you want, but I'm just going to wait, because I like the way the uniform mod and the ballpark mod just do everything automatically for you. Okay, if you're a content creator, you want this to be in windowed mode, or you're going to run into kind of weird problems. Let me see what else you can set font size, which is nice. Font size, or font and font size, which is really nice. A lot of games, really, if you're playing digital, and they're dense, like you'll see this game is, and those of you who've been playing, well, they're doing it free of copyright. Christopher. But the problem is the trademark. The trademark is still, and trademark law, I can tell you because I used to train people at Penn State when I was a manager there to do that type of research. Trademark law is much stricter and carries heavier penalties. So if anybody's out there using Mickey Mouse and you think just because the copyright ran out that you're safe using it, you're not. He's trademarked. If you get caught, you're going to get slapped hard. So just a warning. Unifix checking in from Bangkok. Curious to see how the Out of the Park looks. He has Out of the Park 26. All right, well, we're getting there, my friend. Okay, so this is all the other things. Your dialogue background. You can have a semi-transparent background, which I think looks really nice. All this is pretty much self-explanatory. If we go to miscellaneous here, you can set height. If you're in a country like Bangkok, where you're using the metric system, or wherever else, you can change everything to metric, which is really neat. And that's the same with pound, with weight. Speed, also you can do kilometers per hour, whatever. So in-game sound, this is where you can enable or disable latest news from Out of the Park, usage data. I would leave this. I like to leave this enabled. You're anonymous. You're fine. You're cool. All right. So all that kind of stuff. Let's go to 3D. So 3D features, you do want this enabled. So a lot of people miss this that are running maybe some older spec computers, and this will run on a potato. It really, really will. But if you turn this off, if you have this disabled, you're not going to be able to play with the 3D engine. Okay. So, and you want to use the default OpenGL mode, just leave it where it is. I wouldn't just mess with this. Okay. Just leave these things alone. All this stuff, I could set this to high. Actually, I know this has low. I'm going to put it on high because this is a really, really fast computer. This again, this is all seasoned to taste, whatever you want to do. Go that way. Okay. I'm going to leave the rest of this on, but I just wanted to bring the crowd up a little higher. So thanks to our good friend, Chris Slovak, who's here. He's also talked about having a 3D animation set to slightly slow, which I do. He feels it gives you a better sense of the scale of the ballpark, and I think he's right. When you set it to normal, the ball just goes too fast, and it seems like you're playing at a little league park. So this is a great tip, I think, from Chris Slovak. Let's go to face gen. So what I'm going to do actually here is I'm going to disable it. I haven't put in player pictures yet, but I don't play with face gen. I don't like it. I know they've made, like, for newer players, say the last 40 years, 30, 40 years, it does a good job. But going back into old time baseball, it still doesn't do it well enough yet. So they seem to think that everybody in the 19th century and in the dead ball era like wore goatees and stuff. It's getting better. So I'm just going to leave that at just disabled. Okay. But if you have it enabled, you can now set face gen zoom to random, from the right, from the left, or straight on. Okay. Expert, you're not going to really, really have to touch this unless you're using a custom data path or different database than the one that comes with it. And troubleshooting, this is just really debug and stuff like that. So we're just going to click OK. And I'm going to have to quit and restart the game, which I'm going to do right now. And then we're going to boot it back up again because I do want to. All right, let's bring up Steam again. Boom. Because I do want those that changes to the audio, to the crowd, to take place. So there are some ballparks out there now. These are both really good. Flying Canucks ballparks around the world, and A.S. Rivkin's ballpark collection. So you're going to find a lot of really cool stuff in there. A lot of sort of like 19th century stuff. And so while we're here, I'm going to show you how this works too. Hey, Aaron Reed, great to see you. All right, so Mike's ballparks aren't here, but we can at least do this. So how do you get things in by using Workshop? Okay, so on just about every other game in on Steam, when you subscribe to something, you're subscribed and you'll see it in game. It's a two-step process with Out of the Park Baseball, and always has been. So we're going to go ahead and subscribe to this. You can see kind of these ballparks. he did a really good job. So if you're looking for some more kind of fictional parks and also some 19th century parks, ones that Mike Silva didn't do. So we're going way back. So this one, I think, is South End grounds, and you can see the old diamond there. And this would actually be a pitcher's box about 45 feet away. So these are good for some old parks and just whatever you want to do. And of course, the park does have a ballpark creator, or the game, which I haven't really looked at this year. So anyhow, you just click subscribe. Okay. Now it's going to start downloading these ballparks, but they're so these are 19th century and jazzies. He's done a nice job. I'm guessing he also used Google SketchUp, as did Mike Silva. Okay, just giving you a really good idea for a season. Hey, nice. All right, so we're going to let that update for a minute, and then we're going to get Flying Canucks ballparks as well. But do keep an eagle eye out for Mike Silva's ballparks, as they're, because they cover, it's every baseball park in the major leagues from 1901 to present, and they will automatically be assigned, no matter whether you're playing in like the exhibition mode, you're doing a season replay, or what have you. Those automatically assign. These don't, because they're not right. Mike has them associated with teams, so you're going to want to look out for that and his uniform mod. I thought last year they were up there on the same night, but that's okay. We're going to be patient with Mike for a little while. He's a wanker, but we love him. All right, so we subscribe to that. Let's go back again, and let's pick up also Flying Canucks ballparks. Now, for those of you that do want to get into Face Gen, somebody has done a complete universe Face Gen pack, which is really, really nice. So there's a lot. The Face Gen in here is pretty good. If you like Face Gen, then I would say get those. Blue Rose Case and blue embroidered team logos. These are beautiful. So another nice thing to subscribe to. So we're going to go ahead and grab these. Same thing, just so that people can see again how to do this. So these are pretty cool. These are some pretty cool ballparks that are done here too. So imagine you're just creating some sort of what if league, or you're doing a Michael McGreevy league, and you just want to mix it up with some different ballparks. He's done really a great job. There's all kinds of cool. Some of these are real ballparks. I think some of these. So there, if you're doing like, maybe you're, so as you know, you can play minor league seasons in this, and out of park baseball as well. So another nice thing in its favor is it's got all the minor leagues, which is nice. No other game has that. Pocket pennant run's getting close, but they only have some AAA in there right now. But that's a nice ballpark. I'm not sure how he did these, but I'm all about ballparks. That's cool looking. That is cool looking. This one actually looks like this was done in the ballpark creator. So I don't know. Looks like it, just because that kind of fence there and that foul pole, but could be wrong. Anyhow, these are beautifully done, as you can see, just beautifully done. All right. So once again, you subscribe. Okay. I know I'm going through some stuff here that is really obvious to people, but there's a lot of people that just, kind of don't know how to do this. So we're running into a little bit of a grindy. So tell you what, we're just going to go back. We're not going to worry about that right now. Okay. We're going to get all these logos and stuff later. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's fire up Out of the Park 27 again. And this is even a cool looking band. This is the best one you can see. Look, here's what they looked like in the past. That was kind of cool. Then back to 25, and there was 24 was kind of meh, 23, 22. We Buccos fans were a little upset that this wasn't black and gold. But they're making a statement, I think, with this. All right, let's get into the game. All right. And thanks for hanging out. I know that Legend Sports Universe is doing a baseball game right now. I always like to catch his, but because Saturday's my early morning work, and I wanted to get on here and do this. Hopefully Legends will be cool. All right, so all kinds of new game options. Let's look at them. Okay, so you can do a standard game. So this is going to be for the 2026 season. So that's for majors, Korean Baseball League, World Baseball Classic, or other licensed leagues. Historical game, okay. Custom game, which again, we'll go to historical first. So if we go to custom game, this is kind of like how you're setting up your, this is where Drive for the Pennant is quote unquote hidden. And it was like that last year too. So this is nothing new. So this is Drive for the Pennant mode when you're playing any season before this year, obviously. If you want to play Drive for the Pennant with this season, right, then you're going to be playing it a little bit differently. Okay, so let's go in here. All right, so that you're going to find that here in a new standard game. All right, and then you're just going to pick what you want. Do you want the World Baseball Classic? There it is. You can play it now as it's happening. The British National League, so British have their own majors. So does Holland. These are some partner leagues, and there's Korean baseball. So I don't mess with this at all because I'm just not interested. Okay. Custom game. This again is where you create your own baseball world. This is really, really, really powerful. This is really powerful. So if you wanted to create something like teams, you could do all fictional teams. You could do with fictional players, you could do fictional teams, but with real players, or you could do teams from anywhere that you want. You can set up anything that you want here in terms of league structure. It comes with a bunch of templates here to save you a lot of time. So this could be as low as 4 teams. So this differs. I like this a little bit different, or a little bit more than the tournament mode, because as people have noticed, if you replay a World Series in this game, you've got to really do a lot of work as far as getting your lineups and everything like that. Doing it this way, I think takes a little bit longer, but I would suggest that if you wanted to set up a sort of playoff type structure, you could definitely just do it this way too. All right. We're not going to worry about this for tonight. I've shown how to do this. Let's just cancel. Okay. And again, got our new game. Tutorial game, if you're really, really lost, you could do this. Quick starts. So quick starts, this comes with quick starts. And there are more that you can find. I would suggest that if you do this all-time greatest, be prepared to do a lot of roster work. It's the same one they've been putting in there, and it's crap. It doesn't have Ernie Banks in it or anything. So you're going to have, but that's a great way to learn player import. But there are better ones out there, but you have to import them from past editions all the way through. You can just jump right into the 1994 season if you want. And there are these other two, Promotion, US Baseball League, whatever those are. Don't mess with those. And then lastly is the historical exhibition. So this is the one where you can select up to, now Mike, of course, has broken the barrier on this guy as far as, but as far as tournaments, so is Chris Slovic. But you can have up to 70 teams in a tournament in one go, or just a World Series. You can just select any World Series from here, including replaying that great 2025 World Series if you wanted to. You can pick any 2 teams in baseball history. You can set series length if you want. And what I like here is it pays homage to the early days of the World Series when there were 9 games. So you get nice recaps for each year that you pick. And this is kind of its own sort of, it is out of the park baseball, but it's because it's not part of a season. It is what you have. But what's nice here is, you make sure that if you're playing a World Series, make sure you have the World Series rosters, or however you want to do it. You have a lot of options here. But what I forgot to do, and why we have, yes, 70. You can have 70 teams in a tournament, Philip. It's pretty crazy. So it's not the same as what Mike Silva's doing. Mike Silva's doing actual huge, all these seasons that are set up to basically accommodate every team that's played since 1901 to 2025. So, or I don't know if he has 2025. I think to 2024. So, If you go into custom user tournaments, do you still have to mod the stadiums and uniforms, will they come added if you pick a single season? So once you have Mike's ballparks and uniform mods, when you go back to that screen, and I'll show you guys what Chris means in 1 second. But if you guys remember, I was doing the 1904 World Series that never was, and we were like getting home runs like crazy. It's because I forgot to go from the modern era default to the early years or to dead ball. So I didn't set it to 1904, which is why we were seeing bombs all over the place. So that's going to restart. I'm going to kill that old project. All right, now to Chris's question, let's go back to the main screen. Okay. So when you're going into custom years, and it'll be the same with the term. Now, here's the thing with these custom with the tournaments. The tournaments will do the proper logos, and the tournaments will do the proper ballparks. However, the custom game will give you the proper ballparks, but it won't give you the proper logos, which is a bit of a drag. So the other thing, you've got to change logos, and when you change logos, that's usually going to change the team colors to match. So, but now that being said, I'm going by past editions of Out of the Park 26. I'm waiting for Mike's Ballparks Uniform mod to really get into this, but this is super, super easy. And this, to me, this is my favorite way to play Out of the Park baseball. It's the one where you're going to do the most work, but it's a lot of fun to do. So imagine just the things that you can create. They call this game Baseball's Infinite Sandbox, and I think that this really is the infinite sandbox right here. Now, also from this new game, if you go to this custom game that I've been showing you, you can create a historical league, but then from this historical league, you can also create feeder leagues that go into it if you go into the scary advanced mode and all that kind of stuff. But we're not going to do that tonight. This is just about just getting around a little bit of the game. Okay, let's go back to the Out of the Park start screen, and we're going to jump in to a game I already have started, 2015 Pirates. Actually, no, let's start a new game, and we're going to do a historical game. And I just want to pick something that's still going to have some modern ballparks. So let's go to let's say the Moneyball years. Okay, we're going to leave this at 2005 because we'll do something with the White Sox. Why the hell not? Okay, so up here are all these great game modes. So we could play Drive for the Pennant. Drive for the Pennant first saw light of day back at Out of the Park 25. What this was originally was you could play along with the season and do your own GM moves and stuff like that. There were a lot of us that were making a lot of noise, a lot of suggestions. Could you please make this available for every season? And it is. It has been since Out of the Park 26. So you could play this, and so this is nice, especially for people new to Out of the Park baseball, because you're like, okay, I'm not sure if I want to just jump in and just be a GM. Do I want to field manage? This gives you both. So you're acting as the GM for your team, but there will be times during the season when it's going to throw you into a situation, and they're very interesting. They're random, but sometimes they're pretty tough, and you've got to try to manage through the situation to the end of a game, which is cool. But I think it gives everybody, if you're new to the game, a nice taste. And even if you're a veteran, sometimes you're like, okay, I just want to see what's the game going to throw at me here. Okay. Default mode. This was for the longest time. This was how you played Out of the Park baseball. So if I were to bring up Out of the Park 15 or Out of the Park 8 or something, this default mode was the way. And it's meant for players who want historical accuracy with some flexibility. Players will be rated entirely on their actual performance, but not necessarily fixed to their historical teams. Replay mode. This is what a lot of people play or were looking for. This was new, I believe, last year. Pretty sure. Replay mode is if you want to do a season replay, that's what you want to do. So this is for players who want historical accuracy. Players will be rated entirely on their actual performance and will follow trends related to their career progression, and players will be assigned to their teams, and actual lineups and transactions will be used. Career mode is probably this game's greatest strength, however. So career mode aims to play through history from whatever year you start, while letting things play out differently than they did in real life. Players will develop differently than they did in real life, will get hurt, and sign with different teams. So you could basically start out with baseball history as it was in whatever season that you want. But then things could happen, which is pretty cool. Last one is the most experimental, and this one's the roll the dice, because this could be infinitely sort of is the random debut mode. So, as it says here, it's the ultimate fantasy mode. Rosters and players in the game will pull from history. Some players may only debut later in their careers. So, you could get 1921 Babe Ruth, or you could get 1934, or maybe even 1935 Babe Ruth. You don't know what you're going to get, but it's really fun. It's really, really interesting. I know some people here have done some cool things with random debut mode. So if I were talking to a new player to Out of the Park Baseball, and they just felt really overwhelmed by this game, because when you see the stats, you'll see what I mean. Um, I would say start with Drive for the Pennant mode, and then after that's over, as it says here, you can select a mode to continue on with. I would say go from Drive for the Pennant mode, and then maybe go into replay mode. And then if you're happy with that, you've got all kinds of other stuff to do. If you've been around the game a while, if you're Chris Slovic, if you're me, play anyone you want, you know. Okay. So we're going to do this as a replay. Okay. What we're going to do is a replay. And let's go ahead and do next step. Although it would be fun. Now let's do no, let's leave it replay. Okay. Let's go to next step. And we're going to leave all this checked. We want real historical transactions, real lineups. So it says here we can import minor leagues, but now it says here if we click that, right, we're going to see not recommended because historical minor leagues are enabled. Please select if you want to use real historical transactions, use these options. So we turn this off, then that goes away. Okay, so you can do all this recalc stuff if you want. We're going to do just an historical replay. We're going to leave this rating recalc at 1 year. Okay. We're not going to worry about a rookie draft because we're playing one season. Forrest, how you doing? He says, big day. It is indeed. All right. You can see that these are grayed out because we haven't picked the other mode, like career mode, which is going to allow for historical expansion. We're not, or the classic default mode, right? The career mode. So I never use financials. Boom. So there we go. Never use them. Okay. Let's go to next step. So here, when you're also doing a historical replay, leave this disabled, or you're going to get all messed up. So leave scouting disabled. This is season to taste. It defaults to 2080, which is what professional baseball uses. It makes no sense to me. That's the one thing about baseball. I feel like an idiot that I have no idea what the hell it's talking about. All right, player pictures. I want no fictional pictures. And again, I haven't put any player pics in here yet, so you're not going to really see photos of players. At least I don't think I did. Let's go to the next step. So now we're loading in names. Here we go, and we're going to call this just 2005. Even though I'm not a White Sox, well, I mean, it's not that I don't like the White Sox, but there we go. All right, so we got the White Sox in there, 2005. All right, now we're gonna auto save daily, and I this is the way I play it. Play it the way you want. I like to play as a manager. I want the computer to handle all the BS. I don't care about concessions and prices and contracts. I really don't know. I don't care. I don't use the trading hard mode and trade reputation system. This is where you start getting into a lot of, this will feed into this as we get over here to the game difficulty. And this is going to be new that you'll see over here. I don't check this though. I do suggest, even if you're a veteran in this game, play in commissioner mode anyhow. Because commissioner will allow you to do things in teams that you otherwise wouldn't. I also like to play cannot be fired. My idea is just to play baseball. I'm not here to role play as a manager or anything like that. But if you don't want that, don't worry about it. Challenge mode. So this has many layers of difficulty. So you have a difficulty here in trade settings, you have a difficulty here in challenge mode, and then the game difficulty itself. So, so in challenge mode, you're going to have new in-game achievements that can be unlocked while playing games out. Certain league rules and settings are fixed or disabled. Long-term sim autoplay until is only available during the off season. So that means you got to like play. And unlocking achievements occasionally award you with a perfect team player card pack. Uh, right now, I'll tell you guys, I don't play Perfect Team. If you're expecting anything on here about Perfect Team, wrong channel. I don't mess with There's Dwayne Martz. Welcome in. Good to see you, buddy. So I don't play Perfect Team. You can play it, and it doesn't cost you anything to play it. But my attitude about Perfect Team is this: I can already create perfect team. Actually, I'm going to just set this as dynamic. There we go. You can already create your perfect team in here. You have every season from 1871 to this year. It's so you've got all that and all the minor leagues and everything. And I'd rather see the players play. All right, now let's talk about these. So the game now has 4 overriding difficulties. This is new to Out of the Park 27. So let's look at each one. Minor's difficulty is the easiest way to play Out of the Park and is recommended for new players. Coaches and players will like your team more than AI teams. This means all types of players will be easier to sign and sign for less, be less likely to test free agency, and moreover, poaching is less frequent, and players on AI teams will have slightly more negatively skewed talent change randomness. But majors, this is the default. No added bonuses or drawbacks. And then we start getting up into All-Star. All-Star difficulty is more difficult than typical, so majors playthrough. Coaches and players will like your team less than AI teams. This means all type of players will be more difficult to sign and sign for more, be more likely to test for free agents, so on and so forth. So I think this is really important if you are playing and using this revamped trading system that we talked about. Lastly is the Hall of Fame. This is really, really, really tough. You're going to have to be signing players like really heavy negotiations and stuff like that. I'm just going to be leaving it on the default for right now. So many options. How about it, Forrest? So many options. Let's go to the next step. So now it's importing 2005. And I'll be looking all weekend for Mike's ballparks uniforms because I can't wait. So, but there you go. The logos in the game, because this is licensed by Major League and Minor League Baseball, all logos. These are the correct logos for all Major League teams. You will also have the correct logos if we had loaded in the minor leagues and stuff like that. We're going to pick the Chicago White Sox, and we're going to start. And we're going to start looking around. So this game is pretty crazy. It is pretty crazy. Let's have a look at Jermaine Dye. There's Jermaine Dye. So already you're seeing differences here. You're seeing really a lot going on here. And I haven't even hit the more button yet. So of course there's his age, everything like that, yada yada yada. And you can look at his real life stats, nothing new. But you can look at his current and his potential. Remember, there's a player development lab in this, which is fantastic. All right. How good is he at avoiding strikeouts? Here's his BABIP. I like to see this, BABIP, BABIP. His gap power, just overall power. Okay, so and each of these are going to be defined for you. Okay, so this is hits for doubles and triples. This is for home runs. So gap power and power, two different things. Of course, his eye is there. This is going to be how many walks. So Jermaine Dye probably not going to do a lot of walks. Does this have? Yes, it does. You can play the World Baseball Classic, Alex, right now. From we already went over to the very beginning. We didn't play it, but you select the World Baseball Classic and you're ready to rock and roll. Okay. So again, if you're in doubt about any of these things, go for it. Now look at what we have. Now it gets crazier. And as the game goes on, this is going to get you're going to get more and more stats to look at and more ratings to look at. So you're looking at if he was a catcher, how is he at blocking, framing, his arm, his infield range. Now we're seeing Jermaine's die infield range, his infield error rate, infield arm, how well or poorly will he turning double plays. And he's a right fielder, so obviously he's going to be scoring low. But now we're looking pretty good range as an outfielder, average in errors, strong arm. And then these potentials that you can go by, this is when you can go into player development lab. And we've gone over many times before, so I'm not going to really show that one too much. Okay. And then down here, we can see here his running speed. How aggressive is he as a base stealer? His stealing ability. So remember, and as you get in, like blue is like the best, then green, then yellow, then red. And then what's his he's basically a fly ball hitter. You're not going to want him to sack bunt. You certainly are not going to want him to bunt for a hit. Okay. There's batting stats, of course, that you can view. You can look at expanded stats, the league scope, if you wanted to look at all that kind of stuff. We're just going to keep this at Major League Baseball. All right. And you can combine all levels, things like that. This is going to be tracking splits. Game log once we would start playing, his batting versus pitchers, any streak that he has going on. He's not a pitcher. Fielding stats, advanced stats. So again, as you're going along, you're going to be able to see batted ball super stats, pitch value, a spray chart, advanced, all these stats here that you can pick: exit velocities, pull rates, contact type, pitch percentage. And then all this crazy stuff down here that I'm going to let you go on Baseball Reference and figure it all out. So as games go on, you're going to be able to track things at that level. Of course, then there's Jermaine Dye's actual entire career. And again, you can look at basic stats. And then, so the things that you would normally see maybe in the old Macmillan Encyclopedia and stuff like that, then you can go into expanded. And then now you've got like just an absolute slew of sabermetrics going on here, what's nice about this is these are all defined for you in case you don't know. I love some of these stats. I always thought slugging percentage was a bit bizarre. I think isolated power is better. All right. So you can see his history. This is his actual history, which is good stuff. And then you can, of course, edit players, including uniform numbers. So there's lots you can do here. People were talking about uniform numbers. This is where you get into that stuff. Don't be freaked out by this stuff. There's his batting ratings. Now you're also seeing these batting ratings. Again, I told you guys, this is the stat head. This is the stat head version now. So of Out of the Park Baseball. So in the editor, you can actually go in and change players if you want. Okay. Let me see what else we want to do. Really deep question. If I put today's teams into 1880s, 1800 stadiums, and if you're going to put them in 1800 stadiums, what this game is going to do is actually, it's going to, if they're, because a lot of those 19th century and dead ball stadiums were huge, and they're actually going to be normalized. Their stats are going to be normalized to that time. So it's not going to necessarily force 550-foot home runs to make sure the power totals match today. It rather, much like action PC baseball, and even strategy baseball and pure sim baseball, is going to normalize. Better way to think about it is the way Pocket Pennant Run does it. If you play a modern team, or let's say a live ball team against a dead ball team, the dead ball team is at home, that is the only cards and dice game that I know of that will normalize such that, let's say we would take these 2005 White Sox and play them against the 1970 1917 White Sox, then their power numbers are going to go down and they're going to be hitting more triples, things like that. So you can kind of think of it that way. All right. Going across here, there again, we've gone through some game options, but I think we should just go through again. There's our settings, so you can always get back to things in Out of the Park Baseball, which is nice. Up here in the upper left corner, think of this as sort of internet browser. And if you click this little button right here and just hold it, you can see all your recently visited screens. So you really can't get lost in this game. You just can't. Okay. There's screen tutorials. All right. So if we go to game now, right here's the ballpark construction kit. Now, I haven't looked this year and see what they've done, but it looks like they've added a lot to it. It's that time of year, play ball. Kevin Blay, I haven't seen you in a while. Where have you been, man? Where have you been? So it looks like they've done some additions here to the ballpark construction kit. So this is pretty cool. Now, I think it's important to mention one thing about these. So when you're looking at Mike Silva's ballparks, the ballparks that come with the game, and the other ballparks that you might, those parks are geo-referenced. There's nothing really to look at in Google Earth. But if we were to take one of the major league stadiums, we can actually see it on Google Earth. Why is that important? Because a 300-foot ball hit in Out of the Park Baseball is 300 feet on the earth. It has been a minute. All right, see you in the past, Forrest. First 10 minutes is me just rabbiting, buddy. So, all right. So again, you can choose a major league park. You can choose a minor league park. Okay. We're going to leave this at Major League Park. Let's mess around with it for a little bit. So we got some shapes, and so this is just a template for you to work with. So we can see here that what's it going to look like, this park from the third base stands or whatever. Maybe we want this by a city lake and no roof. And let's go back to let's say, I don't know, whatever. Home plate action. So there's what the ballpark's going to look like. Okay. You can generate a random park. So watch this. We're not going to save it. And we're going to get a whole new ballpark. There we go. And this one has a dome. And we can just turn it off. So no roof. There we go. Completely. So you could just randomize all day and make all kinds of fun ballparks if you want. Then you're going to go to a 3D layout, fence configuration, which gets really deep. So you could recreate your own ballparks in here. But again, Mike Silva's done such incredible work for us that I don't really see that this is going to, this has been like not maybe the big thing, if you want. Okay. All right, so we're not going to worry about loading any ballparks or doing anything like that. But if you want to create your own, there you go. Really fun. Let's return to Out of the Park, and we're not going to save it. And now, we're going to go to the player list. And there she blows, man. There she blows. And there's everybody's teams. We can look at any rosters you want in 2005. So pitching, it's already, when you're doing a season replay, everything is set up for you. But if you decide you don't want this, change what you want. Just change what you want. You can remake the Polo Grounds. You absolutely can. And if that was the focus of this, we would. But when you see, if you've used Mike Silva's ballpark mods, there's no need to do that. So here's what I like. This is, again, there's no faces in here because I haven't put the real player photos in yet. But do you notice what it just did? I'm going to do this again. Watch John Garland as we go over him. Now you're able to see a player's ratings above his stats. So his previous 3 seasons are up to 3 seasons or possibly more. But right now I can see for the starting pitcher, for his stuff, his movement, right? Control, stamina. That's really nice to see. And I love this. I really, really love this. Is new for this year. And it might not seem like a big thing, but to look at your player at a glance, to see what you have as you're studying your roster, which is really, really nice. Okay. Let's go to lineups. Let's look at Paul Konerko. So we can see right there, right? Also notice with Konerko as we look here, notice the contact, right? But notice his potential. So he has potential through the season to develop. You can also, if you were playing beyond a replay season, you could put him into the player development lab, which is really, really amazing. So I like this, and I've loved the player development lab just because you can, if you really want to get invested in your franchise, in your replay, and you're saying, geez, my guy's kind of, I know this guy can hit better. Um, you can go in there, but you do have to make some sacrifices. You can't make a super player in the player development lab. You're going to have to. So let's say if you want to increase Paul Konerko's power to kind of start working for that potential, you may have to decrease power. And I'll show you that, how that works. Pretty easy. But seeing all this at a glance makes just great sense, whether you're a contact or a content creator or not. So Scott Podsednik, there we go. We can see there, not a power hitter. I don't even have to look. I mean, I see there he had 12 home runs, but he's not a power hitter, right? Let's look at Carl Everett. Carl Everett's got a bit more pop there, what have you. And so it's the scouting is accurate because we're doing a 2005 replay. How far back do league rosters go? So what do you mean, Kevin? Because I don't want to get your question wrong, because I want to show you something else really cool about the way replays work in this game. Work very differently than any other game I've ever seen. Except I think uh, Crash is going to be implementing something similar. Oh, seasons 1871. This is all of professional baseball from 1871. The only thing missing in Out of the Park baseball, as far as American professional baseball, would be the All American Girls Professional. But yeah, you can play the 1967 Giants. Absolutely. You play the 1967 Giants against the 1992 Braves or the 1894 Baltimore Orioles, if you wanted to. The 1884 Providence Grays. Everybody's in here. It's just now. Let's take a moment, though, to qualify some things about certain leagues. So, because when this game originally came out in 1999, it was coded as American League National League, and it kept that. So, if you're looking to play Negro League baseball, Negro Leagues, even though the developers know that Negro Leagues are recognized major leagues, and they are and should have been forever, you have to actually look for them in the minor leagues. And yeah, so there's no DLC in this game. You buy this bad boy or bad girl once, and you are ready to rock and roll. Any season, any World Series. You want to play a season of Pacific Coast League in 1933? Go for it. Out of the Park allows you to do that. It truly is it's a humanly infinite baseball sandbox. Yep, there's no DLC. Don't let people fool you. Perfect Team, I've seen this game get in because like, oh, geez, you have to pay to win. No, you don't. It's all here. If you play Perfect Team, you can choose to buy packs. I don't play Perfect Team, but I've watched Mike Silva play it. He doesn't spend a penny, and he's pulled some damn good cards. I think he pulled a Lou Gehrig last year or something. I don't play that game, though, so you'd have to check other channels for people who play Perfect Team. You can do all kinds of stuff. So we're looking here, overview. So how are these guys going to do? You can set your lineups versus right-hand pitching versus left-hand pitching, right-hand pitcher DH, left-hand pitcher DH. You can set what are known as daily lineups all the way through here. Graphical depth chart. So set this to where you want. If you want guys, if you're not about, oh, I've got to stick exactly to the way it was done, so if you want Ozuna to get some time in there at second, just go down and Maybe put them at every sixth game or every whatever game. Okay. You can also, for all these things, you have all these actions. You can ask the AI for a depth chart versus for everything. So we do that. There we go. Now we just ask the AI for it. The other thing, so many other things that you can do. We can go to strategy here. So strategy, this is something that's really deep. Again, if you don't want to touch this stuff, don't. Just don't. You really, really don't have to. So there are tons of options. Yeah, this is a great, it really is, Robert. It's great to see you, my friend. Um, so there's a lot more to out of the park baseball this year than there ever has been. Strategy presets are really nice. John, you already anticipated what I was going to show everybody. But before that, this is what people will freak out about, like all times, and then early in the game, late in the game, and then ninth inning, and all these these score scenarios. You don't have to touch any of this, but what you can do is you can ask Jason Mickelson, whoever this is, for strategy. So this is what he thinks that you're doing this for all innings and all scores for the 2005 Chicago White Sox. And you can see here, there's a lot. For stealing bases, base running, hit and run, all the way down. This game is 10% off right now, and it's a steal even at full price at $49.99. You don't like that? That's okay. Just reset it, and everything neutralizes again. Other thing that you can do, let's say that you wanted to try some different things. Okay, so this is set as it's traditional. So traditional is going to be intentional walks, are going to be more toward the frequently. These are all sliders, of course. You can personalize these the way that you want. The other thing that you can do is if you had a team that had a lot of speed, not a lot of power, right? You could set this to small ball. So this is going to be really good, like for dead ball seasons. I will say this though, if you play any dead ball baseball, one of the strongest features of out of the park baseball, that is the one that's overlooked by most people because most folks don't play. I do, but most folks don't play dead ball baseball, is out of the rip. This plays dead ball baseball and 19th century baseball perfectly. Lots of errors, lots of bunts, and I'm talking like your cleanup hitter bunting, things like that, bunting for base hits, double steals, very risky, very fast. But you have so many cool strategy. Maybe you want something random. So we're going to just randomize it. Who knows what that's going to be, right? So we're going to randomize it again. So you can see you can really kind of wreak havoc here and play some crazy, crazy things. We're just going to reset it, leave it as it is. Front office, I don't touch. If you care about front office, there's the front office. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you why I choose commissioner mode. Commissioner mode allows you, this is kind of like God mode in out of the park baseball. And again, I'm sorry, but I love this new edition. So let's just go around and look at some teams. So let's look at the crosstown Chicago Cubs. All right. And we can look at whoever we want, whatever. But what I wanted to show you with this is let's go to strategy and let's go to lineups here and let's go to this graphical depth chart. Do you guys notice right here? I can't, whoops, I didn't want to pick Corey Patterson. I can't change anything. I can't. So if you wanted to go in and really make the season your own, maybe you're saying, you know what, out of the park, I'm not agreeing with what you're doing here. Okay. So there's a number of things that you can do. But the one I like is go to your manager home screen, go to available jobs. Okay. And I'm going to apply as the manager of the Chicago Cubs. All right. This is going to make me leave my position with the White Sox. And now I'm the manager of the Chicago Cubs. It's that easy. Okay. So let's go to the team home screen. Okay. And we're going to go to strategy. I'm sorry. We're going to go to lineups, graphical depth chart. Now look, now I can change anything I want on this team. So if you choose The drive for the pennant mode, that's the only mode you can't do this in. But I always say, look, play in commissioner mode. That way, if there's things you don't like in the game, change them. Just change them. Okay. There's so much to show, but this is something that I love. I love this. We're going to go to the history index. So as you can see here, we're starting with 1871, Kevin, right? No DLC. And by the way, folks, doing payoff pitch, you might want to, again, think about how you're going to be pricing your seasons. Notice here, it stops at 2004. So you're going to be seeing this as if you were playing. You're the skipper. You're the manager. You're starting in 2005. So your baseball history only goes to 2004. If I would have picked 1964, this would stop at 1963. You can look at any season in the past. You can also look at milestones, which I think are really fun. And we'll look at those in a second. So let's look at this league history. We've got the index. We can search by players. This should look familiar. You guys remember when Baseball Reference used to look like that? Well, there it is. Okay. You can search teams and look at this. You basically have Baseball Reference in here. Pretty cool stuff, right? Including all their old names and stuff like that. So the years, their overall record, and sad to say that the Pirates, for the first time in their history, actually, we're back up now. Or in 2004, we were still above 500. We aren't anymore, but that'll change. So let's just look at the Braves. They're easiest to look at. 19 playoffs, 3 championships. But remember, this isn't just Atlanta Braves. This is also Boston, Milwaukee, whatever, and going back to when they were the Bean Eaters, the Red Caps, Red Stockings. So anything folded in and related to the Atlanta Braves, there's their entire history, attendance figures. Let's look at milestones over here. Okay, so as we're looking at milestones, we're going to look at, all right, so Rafael Palmeiro, right? The milestone here of 3,000 hits. At the start of the season, he needs 78 hits to hit 3,000. Julio Franco is 43 hits away. Steve Finley, 164, so on and so forth. Home runs. Everybody loves home runs, right? So Sammy Sosa is 26 home runs away from 574, so on and so forth. Okay. You can see there's just a lot going on here. We can do the same for pitchers and pitchers milestones. Okay, so Jamie Moyer needs 8 wins to reach 200 career wins, and so on and so forth, as of start of the season 2005. Okay, we're not going to be looking at evolution of the league, but we are going to look at records. So again, you might say, well, Beatles, why would I want to go through all this? I just want to jump in to play the game, but I really want you to see how deep, how rich this game is, and how it has an immersion factor to it. So imagine, you guys remember the old baseball record books that you could get, right? And it wasn't so long ago that you could go into a bookstore, and we still have bookstores here where I live, near the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, or the capital Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We actually have a Barnes and Noble still around, and a Books A Million, and Second and Charles, and all that stuff. So look at all these records as of these were the baseball record holders as of the beginning of the 2005 season. So, and you can do this by postseason, National League teams, American leagues, by by position. So just looking around, just these are the season records over here, and these are career over here. So if we look down here, we see Hank Aaron is still he's the 755 home runs. He's the record holder right now, but there's Barry Bonds, 73 home runs in the 2001 season. So lots of fun stuff. Again, career pitching, and you're going to see. I think this adds so much, just so much to this game. We go teams, National League. You can look at some of their strongest years. So let's say that you're putting together a league of great teams. Well, here's a way to do it. So, like some on a smaller scale than wasn't it a subplot Back to the Future? He gets a sports stats book. Absolutely, Kevin. Right? What was that thing called, guys? I can't remember the name of the book, but yeah. So old Biff, he's making all this money, right? So that's like you just jump into your time machine. Because I think sometimes when you're playing a baseball sim and you're like, wait, where was so and so at this point in the season or at the beginning of the season? You don't have to leave out of the park baseball. You can just find it. It's here. So not only are you paying for a great baseball game, you're also getting Baseball Reference pretty much folded into it, which is really, really nice. Sports Almanac. That's it, John. Thank you. So see here for the Pittsburgh Pirates, there's a number of good teams to pick from. For best team stats overall, 1906 Cubs. I mean, I think they're doing crazy, and Mike's Big Beautiful Baseball Bash. But you also got worst teams. You want to put on some worst teams? There you go. How about those 1935 Braves, the 62 Mets? Now, of course, we're not going to see the 2024 White Sox here, the 2025 Rockies, because we are looking at this as if it's January 2005, right? Best batting stats by team, all right, all the way down. So this is a great research tool that you could use to not only maybe get other league ideas, but remember also out of the park baseball lets you import any player to any team that you want in any year of his career. So player import has been something that's been a while. So Kevin, hopefully you're getting a real deep sense of how incredibly deep this game is. Also, people have argued this is not a good season replay game. It is actually. It has a little feature that will track your replay against the season that you're replaying, and this thing is really accurate. But you have to bear in mind with that it's going to be your human influence that's certainly going to affect things. And because there's a lot of variables, you have to. This is a game that really demands that you invest yourself into it, and that's one of the reasons why it's my favorite. Um, at any point in any game, I can look at anybody's stats, and I love to be able to do that because let's face it, baseball is about stats. Look at these best batting stats. The New York Giants. I did not know this, but in baseball up to 2005, right, had the best. The 1930 Giants had a team batting average of 319, Phillies at 315. My Pirates, they don't even there. 1967 Pirates. We're looking at different options here, different things to look at. Do you want to go down here? You want to look at second baseman? You can look at second baseman. Look at this. So now you can think, oh, I want to. Okay, I'm in a draft league. I'm going to create a draft league, or I'm going to create my own draft league. Um, so yeah, it really is. So Philip, there were past mods in this that somebody actually did the All American Girls Professional Baseball League. So whether that mod will happen in Out of Park 27 is anybody's guess. I should take this time in this broadcast to say also, and I know it's going long, but guys, there's a lot to this baseball game. I have no association with Out of Park Baseball other than, I was one of the beta testers, but I receive no money from them. This is not sponsored in any way. Um, it's just a fantastic baseball game. So there's no other game that's going to let you take you pick that year in baseball history and just go ahead and look at players as they were. Okay, so we can see Rogers Hornsby had the record single season total bases for interest in 1922, which, by the way, 22, a great year for Rogers Hornsby. Okay, now you're going to notice here in this career mode that we're not seeing any of the slider stats. That's because these are retired players. Okay. Let me see. Home runs. So for second baseman, Davey Johnson in 1973 with 43 home runs. Career home runs. over here, Jeff Kent, as of 2005. So love it. I just love it to death, man. Looking at right fielders, same thing. This is a huge, crazy, crazy, crazy database. You want to search postseason? Go for it. You want to look at postseason third baseman? There you go. Is there an option to add fictional teams to the program? Yep, there is. There absolutely is. Welcome in, John Wise. So there is. So you can create. You can do fictional players, minor leagues, major leagues, Korean baseball. Yeah, you can. It's a lot of work. Now, as far as the fictional teams, it depends. If you want to name all the players, this can be a lot of work. If you just want to create fictional teams with fictional players, very easy to do. You want to play with fictional team names and real players, again, easy to do. There's so many different ways to do different things in out of park baseball. Here we go. You want to look at managers here. Managers, cool. And everything here is sortable. Sortable. So I click on these and I can see here that as of, let's just call it January 2005, okay? We've just left the winter meetings and here we go. Tony La Russa with the most wins of the manager. And it looks like he has the most losses as well. So what's their worst finish, best finish? So we can see here, if we go to best finish, let's look at all the managers who've had their best first place. So La Russa, Bobby Cox, Troy Lupinella, Dusty Baker, Hargrove, Lou, Bochy. You guys know it's all the way. Yeah. How many championships have these managers done? So you can go there. We can, again, go back to teams. Let's select the Baltimore Orioles. There's the Baltimore Orioles. Of course, they weren't the Baltimore Orioles in 1876. They had a different name. So just remember that. It's going to be anything that's associated with the Baltimore Orioles. So in 1922, for instance, these are actually the St. Louis Browns. But we can look at their entire record, and they were monsters that year, and just go from there. Okay. All right. Geez, what else? There's my Pirates. So once you've picked a year, you can also just study that year. So I'm still hanging around in 1922. New York Yankees, 1922. There's everybody on there. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and play an exhibition game, just so you guys can see the in-game engine. So what you would have to do, John, to if you want to combine them, you would have to go in and you'd be creating and editing players that way. But you can do it. It's a bit of work, but you can do it. As long as you got the stats, you can create the player. All right. Let's pick two teams from 2005. So I think we should just play the Cubs versus the White Sox. Why not? They used to at the end of the season, way back in the before times in the dead ball era, the Cubs and White Sox would always have an intra-city series at the end of the season. All right, again, I haven't used pictures because I don't like face gen, and I just didn't copy player pictures in yet. All right, so we can go here and we can look at team stats. Deep. This is going to be as you're going along in your league. All of this is going to keep changing and tracking. This thing tracks deeply. You can look at your team leaders. There's nothing here yet because we haven't played anything. Set your lineups. I'm just going to leave everything as they are. Chicago versus Chicago. Let's start the game. So as soon as I make this stupid thing go away, sorry about that, guys. I hate this. I've got to disable this somehow. Go away. Let me make it go away. Like forever. I want Discover off. All right, go away. Thank you. We're back. We are back. Let me move you guys. Let me move this back over because I really, really hate that thing. There we go. And let me bring the comments back out again. Thank you for hanging out, everybody, as we continue. Sound cut out because it goes to another window. You cannot, John. This is strictly a digital game. Strictly a digital game. If you want to roll dice and manually enter results, then you want to try Action PC Baseball, Pocket Pennant Run Baseball, Digital Diamond Baseball. This is pure blood, strictly digital. So you can see the parks are beautiful. These are the parks that come with the game. So obviously we're in a US Cellular Field. Live scoreboards out there, and what you'll see with the live scoreboards in different ballparks is as the line score, which everything's different here. So I've got to give you guys actually a tour of the new screen. If you guys remember, this used to be the line score was all the way up here and all that kind of stuff. Line scores down here. Your lineups are over here. Your widgets are hidden, but you can go ahead and kind of look at all your widgets and stuff like that if you want to. So your BNN, this is out of town if you want to show or hide. Right now, there's no other games because we're playing. We're just playing an exhibition. Up here is your scoreboard. I like it. It looks like a more modern baseball broadcast. And it doesn't do the poop thing, by the way. Yeah, isn't that a beautiful image? They've done the ballparks with this game are beautiful. They really are. You want to look at your box score. There it is. There's the box score. Again, this game, everything's clickable. You can see those ratings are popping out. So if we want to talk about Todd Walker, good contact, yeah, average power, blah, blah, blah. We can look at his seasons, how he had last year for the Cubs. He had 15 home runs with 274 average, 50 runs batted in. Nice little things that you can see. You can look at your game log. Nothing's happened yet. We just see that right now Mark Buehrle is pitching for the White Sox. Okay. Network, nothing going on there. You can, again, go back to your options, which we're going to go into that. Modern 3D view. You can do classic webcast. So let me show you some of these different things, what they look like. There's the classic webcast. So if you play Diamond Mine Baseball, no, you do not have to use warm up at all. No, these are not that. Those parks are part of the game, Alex. So PNC Park looks gorgeous in this. So if you guys play Diamond Mine Baseball, this is a very sexy Diamond Mine Baseball right here. And it's going to show you pitch locations, all kinds of stuff. So if you wanted to play out of the park baseball this way, you can, if you want. Okay. So here's a classic 2D view. So this is what out of the park baseball would have looked like around the year 2003, 2004. And again, they did add, though, all of this. And again, this is new. So I get the player's nationality, again, his potential, his potential, ratings as they are, a lot of information at a glance, and you can see his previous 3 seasons that he's played. Okay. Let's go to classic 3D view, which is a little bit more cramped. This one I'm not a big fan of. I know some people are, because you do get to see a lot more stats in the classic 3D view. Okay. It's easy to change change all your cameras and stuff like that. And you can import your cameras, by the way, from previous editions of Out of the Park Baseball. Okay. And then we're just going to go to the modern. There's a modern 2D view. So one thing you're going to notice here, no players. You can move people around if you want. There's no players here, so we'll show you what this looks like first. Okay, This is basically, you've got to watch the play-by-play. I never use this. So Nafy, here we go. Wind up at the pitch, swung on, line drive, and this one will get down for Perez. All right. So, and you can tell I don't use this because I haven't set this up. All right. I wouldn't suggest playing this way at all. Nothing wrong with it, but I wouldn't play this. Okay. All right, let's go back to our options. Let's go back to our view, and let's play it the way it should be played, baby. Modern 3D view. Okay, so following along with you, fired up Out of the Park 26 and discovered some tabs I was not aware of. For example, discover a schools page that lists all the colleges and baseball programs. Yep. Sorry, Philip. I know you're always jumping in for a game, but I think it's really, really important to show what this game can do. Robert's saying the game looks better, even better on his 4K screen. Yeah, I'm not using a 4K on here right now. Looks fine on here, but yeah, on a high resolution, you're not going to see a lot of aliasing or anything like that. Let's look at a few more options here, guys. Okay, so this is nothing like, you can do your widgets. So these things are called widgets over here. I want to be careful where I click. There we go. So these are all widgets over here. You can move them, resize them, do what you want in Out of the Park Baseball. I love the fact that the line score is down here. I can move the line score up here if I want. These boxes, the weather conditions will actually reflect what's going on this game day. Okay. We can show our high to pitch location widget. So through that last at bat, so over here, where we have Nafy Perez on, we can see that on the 3-2 pitch, he put the ball in play. Okay, so if you want to have that up there, you can, and if not, just turn it off, right? Again, we don't have any out of town scores. You can replay and super stats replay, but have no fear. You can also do all this stuff from up here as well. Okay. Let's go to a wide camera for all our views for now. Okay. So we have our initial camera. Let's put it at wide. There we go. Better look at the ballpark, I think. Okay. The pitch camera is going to be wide, and the action camera is also going to be wide. Now we're going to let it play out. I'm letting the computer manage both teams, but somebody was asking about bullpen warm-ups. Okay, so we can set all that. I already went into the game using this, so if I go to human control, we can do that. But we're going to leave the warm-up rule on for now. Okay, we can turn off that the AI sets defense. So no, you don't have to do this. Okay, we're going to let computer AI do everything here. All right, here we go. So Todd Walker up there, and let's have a look at Todd Walker. So before, all you could look at is Todd Walker was just this. But again, I know I'm harping on this point, but there we go. Last year with the Cubs, Walker with 15 home runs, 50 runs batted in, 274 average. Pretty good contact, average power, eye, and defense. Here we go. Wherley deals. And this one swung on. This one driven to the gap. Or no, down. It's going to get down into right field. Thought it was going to the gap. All right. So Nafy Perez goes to second base. Now you see that Derek Lee is up. And on this live scoreboard, it's not only showing Derek Lee, but you've looked a little closely. You're going to see lineups here. And it's showing 2 on base just here. So it's reflecting that game. And I'm hoping that they're going to add animations and stuff like that someday to the scoreboard. I think that would be really cool. Now you guys have hung in here long enough. You got to see some frivolity. We got to do a little bit of frivolity. This was new in Out of the Park 26. All right, now we're going to mess with your head a little bit. So how about if we do a cinematic black and white game? Weird, right? Yeah, pretty cool, man. Let's do it also as, how about TV saturated color? You got some, look at that. Now it looks like Tony La Russa baseball, doesn't it? So if you want to play around with these things, have fun with it. That's the idea of it. How about a pencil drawing? There, let's play. Look at pencil drawing. It's nice. Weird, but nice. I really, really like it. But I usually just play the default mode. But I did want to show you these things. Okay, so let's go back to view and let's one more. So if you're playing old timey baseball, and you want this to be like just like a standard black and white, there you go. Now you got your game in black and white. So if you're playing back in the 1950s, I wish they would put these in black and white too, but it'd be hard to differentiate your players. Okay. But anyhow, enough of that craziness. I know it's nice. Unless you guys want to see crayon, there's crayon. Isn't that cool looking? They said they just put that in for fun. All right. Let's get out of the screen filter stuff. There, we're back to the normal look of the game. So there's a lot of other things you can do. There's a dynamic action camera, follow the ball. We're going to leave it go. I think I have all that turned off. So let's turn some of that stuff back on so that you can see. I do tend to get a little bit of motion sickness and stuff, but we're going to go ahead and follow the ball. We're going to turn all this stuff on. We're going to have a dynamic action camera. Okay. So action cameras will change during portions of the play if enabled. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead. We got a dynamic zoom. Let's just go for broke and let's just enable that as well. All right. We got full detail for the play-by-play. You can just set this for a short play-by-play if you want. I don't look at the play-by-play unless something doesn't look like, yeah, okay. Is there anything else I want to turn on? Oh, so spray charts are weird. I'm not going to turn those on, but I'm going to show you how to use those. So let's say that you want to get a fancy graphic on how this player is going to hit. If you hit F8, we can see that Derek Lee, 30% of the time, is going to hit it towards short. You can have this on by default. I don't like it. And then just F8 key, and it'll turn it off again. Let's say continue. And you can also play this in at-bat or pitch-by-pitch mode. You can, if you were managing, you could set your infield and outfield for shifts, depths, everything like that. All right, here's the pitch, and swung on, and this one grounded to short, and that would be a 6-4-3 double play. And on the third, Navy Perez moves to third. Not trying to call the game tonight, guys. All right, here's Aramis Ramirez, former Pittsburgh Pirate. Why'd we get rid of him? I have no idea. Good power for Aramis Ramirez. 2 down, runner on third. Beerley's pitch, 3-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. So the White Sox take care of the Cubs, and the Cubs leave a man on. We go to the bottom of the first here. And we got Scott Podsednik leading off here for the Chicago White Sox. If we go over to here, we can also see Podsednik this way. So you don't have to just hover over the player there. Okay. I don't have everything cranked at high resolution on this, by the way. And here's the pitch. I want to try to get closer so you can see how the uniforms look better too. Let's go to our initial camera view of, no, not that one. There's a specific one I'm looking for. Where is it? Where is it? I'm so used to having Mike's cameras in here too. I just want to get, there we go. So you're going to see that there's more highlighting. You see, look, the better pinstripes now in the uniforms. Yeah, calling the game is like muscle memory. It is, but right now I'm kind of like just. Bleh. So let's leave this in here, and let's have the pitch camera also go from here as well. What am I doing here? Home plate camera. Okay. So you can see how nice the uniforms look. This one out to short. And fielded by Ozuna, or I'm sorry, Perez has it on the hop, and 6-4-3 double play. So 2 down now. for Paul Konerko. Wind in the pitch by Konerko. And Konerko loses him. So I don't have this set to show what the pitch was. You can do that as well. You can hide all these widgets. You can make them disappear, stay on the field, whatever you want. All right, here's Jermaine Dye. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike three, the changeup. So Chicago scoreless, top of the second inning. Jeremy Burnitz leading things off here. Count 1-1 strike on Burnitz. Swung on. And this one, high fly ball out to right field. Kind of lazy one. Jermaine Dye comes in and makes the grab. 1 up, 1 down for Michael Barrett. Here's the pitch to the righty. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Changeup. So Mark Buehrle has had 2 strikeouts thus far in this game. Corey Patterson, DH, in the box. Lefty swings. And this one, fly ball to right. This is going to get down for a base hit. And, of course, you can always look at Super Stats replay if you wanted to. So you can watch the game. I like to have the little telestrator thingy on. Sometimes it's a little hard to see things out there. So the nice things about using the dynamic cameras, you do get this really nice view of the ballpark and sort of different angles of what's going on. But I'm not a big fan of all that stuff because it just pops all over the place. Yes, it's come a long way. Since the stick figures, since the Ponds Welcome In Crusader, it really has. If you guys still have it, maybe I should do it some night just for oldies time's sake. We should do a game in Out of the Park 16 so you guys can see the little Parcheesi ponds. Because that's what they look like the little ponds and stuff like that. Let me turn off some of this because I don't feel like getting seasick right now, if you guys don't mind. So we are going to turn off the dynamic cameras. We're going to turn off follow the ball. We're going to leave the starting pan on, which I'm fine with that. Dynamic zoom looks like it's already enabled, so we've got to leave it there. All right. Back to the game. All right. So look how crisp that uniform looks. Look how good they look. The uniform's really, really popping this year. The license, they still take away brawls involving major league teams. I've never seen that in this game. The only game where I've seen them, the 2 games, is Action PC Baseball and Out of the Park Baseball. So, or not Out of the Park Baseball, Baseball for Windows. And those are kind of fun, the brawls and people getting thrown out and stuff. All right. So there's the big hurt. We got to let the big hurt hit, right? Got to let them do it. Okay. You can also do quick at bat. You can do quick until there's a runner in scoring position if you want. Quick half inning, and you can quick play the game. So right now, we're not going to do this whole game. So let's take this up to the 6th inning. Okay. And we see it's 5-0 White Sox. Let's look at the box score here. And we can see what everybody's done so far. Pretty cool. So Zambrano, out of there for the Cubbies, went 3 2/3. Buehrle still looking strong with 6 strikeouts. Okay. You can check your game log from here. And this is nothing revolutionary. I mean, this is probably just about in every digital baseball game that's out there. And you can see... Legends, how you doing, man? Yes, you can beat a batter. I can actually, if I was managing, do you want me to do that? Do we want to hit Todd Walker? We can do that. Legends, I'm sorry I missed your broadcast, but because Sunday or Saturday is my early work day, I wanted to jump on because people were asking for this. But back around, brother. All right, game options. So we're going to hit. All right, so I'm going to be McGregor. Let's return to the game. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to. I got the wrong one. Hold on. Geez, I got the wrong guy. So I want this computer AI. I want this to me just so, and I'm doing this that they don't go bad. You're right, Legends. So guys, do check out Legends Sports Universe and the Legends Baseball League and football and boxing and just one of the best damn channels. Period. Not just in the sports gaming community. All right, Kevin, buckle up. Are you ready? We are gonna hit Todd Walker. There we go. He's hit. So there we go. Yes, you can intentionally hit batters. And actually, this is cool. This will give you guys a chance to see what the managing looks like. Now, for the initial camera, I do like to have it on wide because I want to see what kind of, what kind of, base runners, we got here. Let's set everything back to wide now and get back to the normalness of wide. Okay. So I can throw over, I can pitch out, hit batter. Obviously, right. So I'm going to throw to first, and he's back in time. Yeah, you got to intimidate when you're on the mound. That's right. Nolan Ryan would be proud. Poor Todd Walker catching strays, and wouldn't Bob Gibson be proud? All right, let's look at a few other things in the game. Let's go ahead and quick play this out, the entire game, since we're just playing an exhibition. So in an exhibition game, you do not get a write-up, but this has a great artificial intelligence write-up. We'll pick out key points of the game. I love these WPA graphs here. Just way, this game is so much about information. It's just absolutely insane. All right. Um, so again, I'm sorry there's no pictures in here. This is the Hall of Fame as of this year. So Sparky Anderson is in there, and Home Run Baker, and the year he was inducted. If you wanted to look at the voting history, again, up to 2005, this will have everything. But whatever season you've picked, obviously, there's going to be nothing before 1936. So if you want to track when Hall of Famers, and so you're going to, you'll know. You'll know. You're right there. There's Mel Ott. Mel Ott was not a first ballot Hall of Famer, whatever that means. I think Legends had a good talk about what that means. But it is kind of fun just to see who the sports writers were looking at. And you get some of those years, like in 1960, man, nobody made it in. Poor Ed Roush. He's like, what the hell? Is it because I used to be a contract holdout or what? So, also within this game, you have here's the upcoming eligible players. So it would have been of that year, 2005. Cooperstown collection, not much in here yet. But this does have, there's a part of the game that they're in partnership with the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum that you can actually look at some cool pictures of artifacts and stuff like that. There's your sortable Hall of Fame. You can look at JAWS, their black ink, gray ink standards. So I think this is a lot nicer in a way than looking at the way it's done in Baseball Reference, because sometimes we're scrolling down, we're comparing players. What's his gray ink? What's his black ink? Well, you've got it right here, and we can sort here. And no surprise, there's Babe Ruth with 165, Walter Johnson second only to him, and so on and so forth. Just what can I say? This is a crazy, 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 crazy. Will Toole, he says, it's been a while. I figured I would jump on to see new out of the park baseball. Anything new or exciting with historical play? Yes. Yes. There's lots. There's really a lot um, to this one. This is it's pretty crazy what they've done. So there you go. Shows you the previous year. They're the who won the World Series, the Boston Red Sox, and we can go back and look at all their ratings and da 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 da. So again, as I've said, this one to me is really about this is the stat head update with good weather, better uniforms. There is a mod with historical parks for older teams, just that Mike hasn't put it up yet. We're waiting for his ballparks and uniform mod. Hopefully that'll be up this weekend. Mike Silva, I don't know where you are. Hopefully you're listening. But I did subscribe. That's what I would just show you guys. Okay, so let's go back to the start screen. If you guys remembered, I subscribed to that ballpark set. So if I go to Workshop Central, so we just have A.S. Rivkin's baseball collection. Now you're saying, well, geez, why aren't these showing up in the game? That's because they haven't been installed. Notice it says this item is downloaded. Click here to install or reinstall it. So Out of the Park Baseball does it differently than other games that have Workshop. So I've got to do this, and now it's putting in a crap ton of ballparks. So there you go. So these are in here, and let's go back and let's just mess with I don't know what this is here, this new game. So we're gonna just do this. I have no idea what this is. Okay. So I also like this. So from your manager home screen, you can very quickly this is every box is customizable. So anywhere here that you can see a downward caret. If you don't want this to show your last game, you can say, geez, what's my next game? I can look at my team roster, finances, uh, division graph, chemistry and cohesion if you want that, your team history, bookmarks, links, notes. You can favorite things by hitting the star button. This bookmarks certain pages and you can access them. But like down here, if I went just a straight up link to roster, boom, I'm at rosters. Again, treat this as a web browser. Go back one page, there I am. You subscribe in game or in Steam? Good question. So let's go back to the Out of the Park start screen. And what you do is you go down here to Workshop Central, okay, and then you open the workshop, and then it's just going to right there in Steam, and we can see that Mike is still being a slacker. But let's say we wanted to bring in these embroidered team logos. We're gonna, and these are really nice. So Mike did a Blue Rose Case did these are beautiful, aren't they? These are great. So there you go. Mike comes in here quite a bit, so you can see the stitching. So when you're a kid, you wore these with the your jacket. I know mine did. I had like every Major League Baseball team on there, and so nice to see St. Louis Browns, by the way, and some old teams and whatever. So let's go ahead. We're going to subscribe. It's subscribed. Down here, you can see at the bottom of my screen, it's updating. Okay, so all it's doing though is downloading. So now if I had this on Total War Warhammer 3 and hit something, it's going to download and install. Okay, now we just go back to Steam, and we're going to reload our list. And that looks like we didn't. Let me see. Did I not do that? Let me close it and open it again. I might have hit a little snaggy here. Yep, looks like I did. So, but that would show here. I'm reloading the list, but it's just not happening. But anyhow, we've got the ballpark collection, so I think we just hit a little snag here. But that's how you do it. We know this is going to work, and I'll show you why it's going to work. All right, let's go ahead and load a game, and whatever this new game is, we're going to load it, and we're going to assign a ballpark to somebody. Could be server lagged. Yep. Using the game apart from Steam years ago, there used to be a site. Yes, that's gone. That was a great site. Spose Fan. There was also the Spose Fan site, if you remember that. There was also Baseball Sim Central. And I was a writer on that website. They asked me to be a writer there. I had a blast doing it. May need to restart the game. So this is the all-time greats team. That's what this is. And if you use this quick start, you're going to have to do a lot of work on it, a lot of work. But that's fun because you can kind of just bring in players and whatever you want to do. But I'm going to go with this. This is pretty fun. But I'm going to give the Pirates a different ballpark just for giggles. Okay. So if you go to team settings, all right, and we go to modify, or we could go to edit ballpark. So there, Alex, there's what PNC Park is going to look like in game. It looks almost like a photo. This is not. It's PNC Park though. But let's give it a different ballpark. God forbid. No, we can't do that to the Pirates. Hang on. No, we're not going to do it. We're going to. Is Robert still here? Robert's going to hit me for this, but we're gonna do something here. We're going to give the Mets a new ballpark. That's what we're going to do. These Mets. So you don't have to control the Mets to change ballparks like you do with players. Because yeah. So let's go ahead and edit that ballpark. All right. Citi Field, where the Beatles never played, but Billy Joel and Paul McCartney did. So that's kind of nice. Let's go ahead and let's look at our 3D model, and we can kind of bop around here, as you can see. And again, this is one of the parks that comes with the game. All right. Let's load a 3D model. Go to ballparks, models. So this is important. So for ballparks that come with the game. So if we look at Citi Field, you notice this says POD. All right, that's a proprietary file format that they use. But Allentown Fairgrounds, this is an OBJ file. So an OBJ file, these came from a 3D program called Wavefront, and it was decided in the graphics industry that this is much like the graphic version of, think about it, right? So a PDF is a portable document file format, whatever. So OBJ files can be loaded into all kinds of different things, whether it's Blender, Maya, whatever. It's Wavefront. So we're going to select Allentown Fairgrounds, and we're going to load the Allentown Fairgrounds. And there we are. We're in the Allentown Fairgrounds. But there's one additional thing that you want to do. With Mike Silva's ballparks, you don't have to go through this process. But if you're using these other ballparks, you will have to do this, but it's kind of fun. You go back to pictures and coordinates. When you see Citizens Bank Park, you know you don't have park factors in here, okay? So then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to manually import data from file into this park, okay? And then all I've got to do is go in here and look for this park file. Let's go up. Let's go to ballparks. Where are you, ballparks? Ugh, God. I'm seeing ball caps. Am I in? Yeah, I'm in Park 27. I'm not seeing the ballparks, man. Help me out here. 3D ballparks. Is it compositions, 3D? It's not these. These are new ones. Yeah, because there's London. There's Field of Dreams in there. Oh, God bless it. Where is it? What you would do is you would go into the ballpark subdirectory, and you're going to look for a PRK file. And when you put that PRK file in there, you will have, maybe I'm not down there enough. I don't know. Let me show you an Out of Park 26. Maybe I can do it that way. I think. Maybe not. Bah. I shouldn't have jumped into this rabbit hole at all. Nah, it's not. So, whoops. Let's go. Oh, there it goes. Diablo 2 and Diablo 4. By the way, get Diablo. Let's cancel this. Diablo 2 Resurrected is pretty damned awesome. So I should be able to bring this in from another version, but apparently not. So, oh God, where did I find this? Because I'm going in 3D ballparks comp. What's this? Nope, it's not that. So I just saw these. Nope. Because we were able to bring in, it looks like the park data, I can't bring them in yet. Let's try import export. Nope. Nope. This will be how you can do it. This might not be complete yet. So if I close this and open Out of the Park 26, I can show you. We'll do it in another broadcast. All right. So we're gonna actually just load Citi Field back in. right? No use upsetting the Mets too much. Because right now, what this is going to use is going to be the pictures of coordinates for Citibank and the ball locations for Citibank. Park, when you bring in a park file, that's going to all change. Okay. And by the way, you can change park profiles to whatever you want them to be. But let's go and let's reload City Fields so that Robert doesn't beat me up. Yeah, there is no park file here. So these must not be here. That's why I couldn't find them. So not my mistake. City Field, load, and we're back at City Field. And there we go. Now we know we've got it right because it's City Field again. Okay. You can do things like explore the world and how many teams. Of course, most teams don't have any, they don't, but we can look up here. So Canada, United States has a team and Canada has a team. But if you're loading in, there's different ways that you can like load things in into your world and stuff like that. Here's a school page that somebody talked about. So all the schools that have baseball programs. So I have to look at my alma mater and then also where I did my graduate work. So where are you, Penn State? Where are you? There we go. There's Penn State. Penn State and Nittany Lions. There we are, baby. So State College, PA, and our latitude and longitude. And apparently we've been getting better at baseball. So and let me see if my graduate school's in here. So I know we have a baseball team, but we're not like a high level, or it wasn't like, with their, yeah. So, oh, wait, there's way more. Okay, we're not going to go through all that. You got regions in here to mess with if you want, but none of that you really have to do. You can do a player search in here. Um, God, what else? So very, very much. Yes, they have minor leagues. I'm going to set up something really quickly for you, Kevin, so you can see minor leagues. So let's go back to the start screen, and we're going to pick another historical league. Okay. So let's pick a new game, historical, and let's go back in time. It also splits baseball up into eras. They have minor league stadiums. That I don't know because I don't play minor league baseball in this. I don't play minor league baseball in anything. You still don't know, have links to download player picks. No rush, but trying to forget. I won't forget. I know you're off to Italy in a couple weeks. You'll have them way before you have them this weekend. Player picks are easy. In fact, I'll show how to do those right now too, or after we do this. All right, let's pick 1980 to 90. We've been spending a lot of time in the 70s. Let's go to the 80s now. Okay. And let's pick 1988. Okay. We're going to import that complete history. We're going to play this as a career mode this time. Okay. Just to show you a different look. All right. We are going to import real minor leagues. So notice what's different here, guys. There's no, right, the lineups and everything, right? So when you're playing career mode, this is sort of an alternate reality mode. As we said, this is going to be where you're going to be kind of rewriting a new baseball narrative. Okay. We're going to leave all this alone. We can set different talent ratings if we want. You can use real stats, which, you can use the out of park development engine. I suggest you use this if you want to get into the player development lab. Okay. Do we want to hold an amateur draft? We're just going to import rookies directly to teams. Okay. So, but if you want to really rewrite things, hold an amateur draft or import rookies as free agents. But let's put them directly on the teams. Okay. And let's turn off financials because I don't really care. I really don't care. I don't play this game to work for a living. Okay. I do not want player pictures for right now. All right. Boom. But doing pictures is really, really easy. Let's just call this 1988 test so I know to get rid of it. Again, I like to do dynamic saves. Change your name up there if you want. Cannot be fired. I love it. Playing commissioner mode. Always playing commissioner mode. It's not cheating. It's setting things up the right way. Okay. And now we'll get down into the manas. And I think for minor league stadiums, there's lots of stuff on the out of the park forums, a lot of ballparks that you can get. Remember, you have the ballpark creator. I showed you that AS Rivkins. You could just set up what you want. All right, so we're in 1988. I'm going to go back to my Pittsburgh Pirates, and we're going to start the game. And we're going to be able to look at our entire organization. And these are real minor leaguers. You can move people up, move people down. Oh, this game is crazy. I put like hundreds of hours into each like iteration of this thing. Okay, let's go to our team home screen. Let's look at our organization. Goodness gracious, there we go. So there we go. We have the Buffalo Bisons. So now remember, you're not seeing the Altoona curve because we're in 1988. So the Harrisburg Senators, they used to be a Pirates affiliate. They're now affiliated with the Nats. There's the Augusta Pirates, the Salem Buccaneers, Gulf Coast League, the Princeton Pirates, and then Watertown. Let's look at the American Association, and there they are. So some of these guys made. There's Jeff King. There's Jeff King in his AAA year. A lot of these players, of course, did me. There's Sammy Khalifa. So Khalifa, kind of on his way down, he played in '87 for the Pirates, just 5 games. So just up there's Benny DiStefano. Pirate fans might remember old Benny there. These were dark years for the Pirates. '88, first year that we sort of played, right? That we're coming back. And then from here, you can set your lineups. Also, I forgot to show you guys the schedule screen. That looks really, really, really nice too. So you can go from here and just play games if you want. I don't play minor league baseball in any baseball at all, so I'm not the best person to ask about these, but they are here. And unlike strategy baseball, these are real minor leaguers. So yeah, I've just imported all minor leagues from 1901 on. Now, why they're using 1901 interests me because you had minor league baseball, but you didn't have affiliated minor league baseball until Branch Rickey instituted that. One of the 4 great things Branch Rickey did in baseball. So I'll let you guys figure out the other 3. So there you go. But I'm going to go back to the Pittsburgh Pirates themselves. And what else can we look at here? The player development lab. I've been talking. Look at how many players you can put. You can put all these guys into a practice facility. So we were to take Doug Drabeck and drop him in here. We could start working with Drabeck and working with the kind of programs. So display programs that cannot be completed before the season starts. If we hit this, because the season hasn't started yet, but look at all the things that you can develop. And this is just, we could have Doug Drabeck try to add a new pitch to his arsenal. It's also going to show you the difficulty of being able to do things. So Doug, maybe we'll want him to assign him to some bunting drills, but the season's got to start to do these. You can ask the AI to fill your entire training complex if you want to do that. Back to player development here. Minor league system ranks 18th out of 26 overall in 1988, remember. So these are determined prior to the season based on stats and ratings. To be eligible as a prospect, players must not exceed 75 days of major league service. So Merced hanging down here. in Double A right now. Looking just for some familiar names, there's Moise Alou, who was Single A for the Bucks that year. Jeff King, of course, at Triple A. Jeff King would move over to the hot corner. There's Jeff Neely. You guys, if you're a Pirate fan, you might remember Neely. A lot of these guys, not so much. Tom Prince did make it. He played for the Bucks previous year. So yeah, you can rank everything by potential ratings, current ratings, prospects only. Show your entire organization. So there's Barry Bonds and John Canzalosi out there in left. Randy Milligan in center. You got Van Slyke over in right, along with R.J. Reynolds. Merced hasn't made the big club yet. Sid Bream at first. We had a ton of second basemen that year. Remember Darnell Coles and Felix Fermin, Alex? So the AI did that. Can you change something the AI does? I'm not sure what you mean by that question, Kevin. So if you don't mind doing a bit more typing. Can I change things? Yes. If you mean, can I change? Yeah, I can undo things. I can promote players. I can demote players. You really have complete control over your team. You really, really do. Okay. Back to the player list for the Pirates. And here's everybody that would be ready to rock. We could look at upcoming free agents. If you wanted to do some things like there's Al Padrique right now. Padrique played 88 games back in 87. So you're seeing you're getting a whole history tour here too. Is this you're going to get to see transaction logs done by month in 1988. So we look at July 1988. Let's go to September, October, November, December, February. Looks like January. Everything's sort of happening there. These widgets over here are basically for really, really, really old school out of the park players. If you're familiar with those, then you can just click those. I prefer these now. So there's lots of ways to get in here. Again, back to our history index, and we are just looking at where like league history index. And once again, just going over some old ground, it only goes up now to 1987. You can just do your research, look who's coming up on whatever. What's new with historicals? They've done a lot of in the training I can assign anybody to anything I want, Kevin. You're welcome. Yes, so I don't have to go by what the AI suggests that I do. I can change anything I want. You're really free to do what you want in this game. So that's pretty much wow. There's so much in this game, but don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of it. It's really just a fantastic game. It scares a lot of people off, but there's easy points of entry. And thank you very much for that, Kevin. There's easy points of entry into out of the park baseball. I see most people on YouTube playing this as a GM only game, and I think they're missing so much by doing it. Get in there, manage some ball games. Try that drive for the pennant mode first if you're new to the game. So what they've done with it, they're consistently working on player ratings. You're still going to have to probably get your hands a little bit dirty on this, but I'm finding that this year with my playtime with Out of the Park 27 while it was in beta, and also remember to they constantly keep patching this game, so it's not like it's done, it's out. Now we go on to whatever the hell else we do, which I think it's what franchise hockey managers, their other game. This game gets patched and reworked and added to all year long. Its regular price is $49.99, but you can get it for 10% off on Steam, or you can buy it directly from the developers. The only thing is, and Alex, before you go, I'm going to show you how to do player photos. We should do that right now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and exit out of the park baseball. I hope this has been helpful, folks. There's a lot. MV, how you doing, man? Showing off this sexy out of the park 27. All right, so Alex, what I'm going to do is go into my file explorer and show you how easy this is to do. Okay, and then I will also give you a link to where you can download player images as well. But I happen to have my player images in Action PC Baseball, another game that you are interested in. Okay, so there are 46,573 pictures. So I'm going to do Control A. I've selected all of these guys. Control C to copy, and that's going to take a minute. Okay, now I'm going to go back to C, Program Files, x86. Going to get on and look for Steam. If you don't have Steam, guys, it's going to be Out of the Park Developments and then the rest of this that we're going. Okay. The only reason I say getting us to Steam is because it stays automatically updated and the workshop is awesome. Okay, common, Out of the Park 27, data. Now, I've said this many, many, many times before. I'll say it again. Do not put player pictures in pictures. They go in photos. So I'm just going to right click here or whatever, and I'm going to paste. And we can talk for a few minutes while it's doing that. Copying 45,000 pictures is going to take a minute or two. APC community and the Out of the Park forums, great places. A lot of love has to go out to Cheech, who he's kind of like the curator of player photos. So if you end up getting both games, Alex, the photos in Action PC Baseball will work in Out of the Park Baseball and vice versa. Bookmark at this timestamp. Good. Yep. And then when we go back to the game, we'll see player pics, which makes all the difference in the world. The other reason, guys, why I like player pictures is because the focus of this channel, besides family and baseball, is about the history of the game. And so I like when I can for you guys to see at least what the player looked like. And I don't think Face Gen is quite there yet. But again, you saw in the workshop, you can do the complete universe Face Gen pack. Somebody went crazy and you got them all. But I prefer real player photos. You could use Steve Tate's ballpark photos in this game if you wanted to. I guess he's okay. Your attention span is fucked. That's all right. So's mine, paisano. So's mine. So I'll try to catch up with you hopefully Sunday evening, man. It's been too long since we've talked. And once you're over there in Italy, in Italia, you're impossible to reach, and I don't blame you. So, guys, your directory structure logos are going to go in there, pants, all that stuff. So when Mike's uniform mod's released, you're going to see all kinds of stuff already in there. Same with the ballparks. Scroll disease, that seems to be a thing these days. I know. So, what are my honest thoughts? And I'm going to give you guys honest thoughts about Out of the Park 27. They're working. There are some better animations this year, and I've noticed that, like, it used to be a dead giveaway with a catcher threw down to second. You knew whether the runner was going to be safe or out. I've actually seen some very close plays where the runner's actually out. I know that their long-term goal is a lofty goal. Whether they'll actually be able to accomplish this, who knows? But they want to try to get people's animation. So someday it would be great to see Willie Stargell with that, crazy sort of wind up. God forbid we would have no more Garcia Parra or any other of those. Was it Mike Hargrove, the human rain delay or whatever? Okay, so if we look in here in photos, Alex, as soon as we open this, hello photos. So I got a messed up mouse right now. So let's jump out of there and let's start the game one more time. One more time. One more time, baby. All right, here we go. Patience is the key. Absolutely. Okay, let's play Out of the Park. And let's load the 2015 Pirates. And hopefully we'll be if I don't remember how I set this up, so I'm gonna have to see if I have this set for player picks. We don't worry about that bit. I'll be able to tell here in a second. Player list. And there they are. Player pictures. Much better, I think, than uh, Face Gen. Now, if you want to get really picky and go through your photo set, I mean, I see right now Pedro Alvarez is wearing Orioles. I don't care. I just want to see the face. There's Francisco Liriano. Yeah, he's wearing Blue Jays. But I still think this makes a big difference having these players. And it's that simple. I don't have a picture of Young Ho Kang, and I don't want any. So what will happen is for players that you don't have a picture of, it will just superimpose the team's logo on where that player's face should be. It's that easy. Copy paste. If I go back in here to, well, let's just bring it up this way. So we're going to bring up another baseball game in front of it. My second favorite baseball game is Action PC Baseball. And there we go. I click on Ralph Garr, and there's Ralph Garr's picture. That same picture of Ralph Garr is in my Out of the Park directory. So all you do have to just get them once and copy them over, and it's I don't know, it's like maybe a gig and a half, 2 GB, which is nothing for today. All right, we're giving all the love to Out of the Park tonight, though. And there you go. There's a lot more to show in this game. Francesco Cervelli, he is working with the Italian Baseball Federation. If you guys have been watching the World Baseball Classic, you saw him actually, and proud of Team Italy, baby. So pretty good stuff. So there we go. We're looking at the Pirates now. We can see this is their right. This is we see the Indianapolis Indians. There's the Altoona Curve, Bradenton Marauders, West Virginia Power, the West Virginia Black Bears, the Bristol Pirates, and the Gulf Coast League Pirates. So we could go to the Altoona Curve, and we can see all their players and stuff like that. There's one other thing I wanted to show you guys. Oh yeah, team schedule. This is new. Forza Italia. So we can see I already started this, but this is really nice. So just showing this is our next game. Really nice professional look here. We can see where we are. There's our Pirates. There's the Brewers showing where they are, where they rank. This is something really new. So right now, what are we doing? It's our defense doing it right now for us. We're tied for ninth in strikeouts. We're first overall in ERA. We're tied for 17th defense. We're down at the bottom in home runs. No surprise there. And yeah, so this is very new. We can select on any of our opponents that we're going to be playing. We can kind of look. There's the Toledo Mudhens. Saw so many great games in Toledo. So everything about Out of the Park baseball, what makes it seem scary, but it really isn't, once you can navigate this bad boy, um, is just, or bad girl. It's sort of like its own internet, if you will. And I think the big thing are these two screens here, or these two carrots here, and then plus you're recently visited, and you really can't get lost. So for some reason, I was looking at AJ Burnett the other night or whatever, and I can look at his profile here for scouting, stuff like that. Ah, ciao. Gonna watch the movie Nuremberg on Netflix. Yeah, I don't have Netflix right now. I just bought a damn car, so I'm gonna have to just hang on to Amazon Prime for now. Any other quick questions I can answer? We got 22 folks here. I know people are probably expecting a game. Ba-ba-da-da-ba-ba. Let's see what we can find here as far as scores. Oh, I'm sorry, the other thing, guys, that I think you should really, really, really do, that I do, and I know this one freaks a lot of people out, but you don't really, really have to get too deeply into this. But I think that what you want to do is you can add feeder leagues, by the way, onto this too if you want to get that deep. I don't suggest it. But for your game, when you go to game settings, okay, for these auto saves, what I like to do, this game has a feature that no other digital baseball game does. So, on other baseball games, you can read a game log. So, Action PC Baseball calls it a film, and you're basically just reading through the game. Well, how about just watching the whole damn game? And you can do that. So, generating highlights, generating 3D movements, make sure, I just put this on all leagues, and you can go back and actually watch games again. You can just watch highlights, however you want to do it. So it's really fun. In fact, Larry, by the way, we got to Larry Ferrer, Fer, Larry just started a channel, and he just did the 1961 World Series, Game 1 and Game 7, no spoilers. So when he gets in here again, we're going to have him give you his channel. Please subscribe to his channel. He's new to the content creator community, and he's doing a fine job. But I would say, like, enabling storylines is fun. But make sure you have all this stuff set to yes and all, and you can store replays in pitch by pitch mode if you want, which is what I want to do. But you can watch entire games in here. Some of these things, don't worry about this. So as I'm getting ready to wind things down here, unless you guys want a game, there's some things you don't have to ever touch to enjoy this game. And I think when people get out of the park baseball, they start going through all the menus and are like, oh my God. And like, you don't really, really have to. Do you want to really go in and edit the league schedule? You can create a fictional schedule. You can schedule exhibition games. You can do all kinds of bazillion things here. But you know what? You really don't have to touch this. You really, really don't. Leagues and teams, here if you want to just rename or whatever, you want to edit your league structure. Again, I don't think you really have to play with this. Historical year, though, you can set historical progressing settings. I can set this for auto import of strategy modifiers or financials, whatever, base player roles and positions on real life stats, or AI evaluation if you want to go down that road. But most of this you're not going to have to really mess with at all. Select stats detail. I would say go very high detail. Fully track everything. Because of the new stats in here, you can do this. Okay. Select which settings to import. So here is the normalization thing that we were talking about earlier. You can normalize to a year. So even though I think this is 2015, I could make this game play for 1930 settings, and you're going to see tons and tons of runs being scored. Or if I wanted to set up more year of the pitcher, then I can go down here and I can select 1968. But that's, again, if you want to really, really shake things up. Okay. You can look at totals by year. Again, no other baseball game is going to give you this kind of deep, deep, deep analysis. And, but don't even worry about all this stuff. You really, really don't. You don't have to worry about any of this. Global settings, If you set up your global settings, you're good. If you're like me and you want to, if you don't want face gen, turn it off, and you saw how to do it. Okay, that's pretty much it. I mean, we can in any game that that you create, you can save as a template if you want. Um, this is going to show you all the databases that this game uses. I would say pretty much just stick with it until or unless Mike Garland brings over his uh, integrated mod, which takes away the color barrier. But that's not available in 27. I don't. I think it finally became available in Out of the Park 26. So it's probably going to be a while before that comes over to here. Just just give it a try. Give it a try. Oh, another nice new addition. Sorry. Here we go. So I like the way before you would just look at standings. That's all you would see. But now you can look at a glance and see where everything is, where everybody is as far as standings. And then as far as leaders in the American League, leaders in the National League, again, everything clickable. There's Adrian Beltre, again, being able to look at his potential and blah, 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 blah. There's Alcides Escobar. We can look at team versus team, and you can just read this. Now, I have to say that strategy baseball's head to head grid looks nicer than this, except for these. I mean, I think this looks really nice. Uh, Notice here I did make this the Cleveland Indians, and I can change that logo to be Chief Wahoo if I want to, because they were the Indians in 2015. Um, I think that Out of the Park baseball has come in just such a long way in trying to make a game that's so powerful and so deep to try to make it as user friendly as possible. But I don't think you can really kind of there you go. There's power rankings for everything right now. You can get lost in this, but don't be afraid to get lost in it. Um, if you're a baseball fan, it's what we do anyhow. Remember back in the days, guys, and I still have them, and I'm sure many of you still do the big hernia inducing baseball books, right? Total Baseball and the Baseball Chronicle and all those great big fat baseball books that should be on a treadmill, but we're glad they're not. Let yourself just jump in and play around with it and stuff like that. And you can't break anything. You can always undo what you've done. It's got a great league newspaper. So I was talking about enabling storylines. The newspaper is awesome. You can look at, listing. You can write and edit your own news. Um, you can delete things if you don't want to have an all-star game in 2015. You can delete it, or you can edit it, move it to another place. There's the league calendar that's going to show you important events. There's the all-star voting beginning in May, and then we hit July, and there's the all-star game on the 14th, trading deadline, so on and so forth. It really is such a great baseball experience. It really, really is. Once again, to turn off face gen, you want to go to File, Settings, and disable it. Any other quick questions before I go? This has been a longer one, 2 hour. I haven't done a 2 hour broadcast in a long time, but there's so much more to this game. Too much for one video. Way too much for one video. Just go around, play with the screens, load in a season. There, look, you got a nice little ticker going on here. Pretty cool. Pretty cool, right? Click on stuff is the best way to learn this, and stay away from the big nasty menus because you don't need them. Think of a season that you love. Pick a team that you're really familiar with. Don't play with financials. Play as a manager. Play in commissioner mode and cannot be fired. and you're not going to break anything. Because if you don't check cannot be fired, this game will fire you. If you're doing crap, you will get fired, man. So I think Alex left, unfortunately, because I was going to show him. A game. I was going to game. I'm going to show it to you anyhow. Oh, we're at the Brewers. All right. So Josh Harrison. We'll do an inning or two here. Josh Harrison leading off at third, batting second for the Pittsburgh Pirates, catching Francisco Cervelli. Batting third at second base, Neil Walker. Batting fourth in center field, starting Marte. Batting fifth at first base, Pedro Alvarez. Batting sixth in right field, Corey Hart, not wearing his sunglasses. Batting seventh in left field, Andrew Lambo. Batting eighth at shortstop, Young Ho Kang. And pitching and batting ninth is Vance Worley. For the hometown Milwaukee Brewers, leading off in center field, Carlos Gomez. Batting second and catching, Jonathan Lucroy. Batting third, I don't have a picture, have to get a picture of Ryan Braun in right field. In the number 4 slot, Adam leaned at first base. Aramis Ramirez batting fifth at the hot corner. Batting sixth in left field, Chris Davis. Batting seventh at shortstop. Everybody calls him Jean Segura, which I guess that's what he goes by, but should be actually Jean Segura. Batting eighth at second base, Hector Gomez. And pitching and batting ninth, Jimmy Nelson. All right, here's the warm-up rule. So this was Ask Kevin. If you're still here, and if not, catch it later. No warm-up required. That easy. Okay, we're not using a designated hitter. And then down here, I believe it is, I am not going to, if you leave this on yes, this is going to simulate the world in the background. The reason I turn this off on replays is because unlike some people who just want to pick their favorite team and just play their team through the season, I use this as an adjunct to learning about different franchises and different players. So I turn that off because you can auto play games another way. All right. And let's look at what's our views wide. Let's go. And here we are. We are at Miller Park. Starting defense, Chris Davis for the Brewers in left field. Carlos Gomez in center. Ryan Braun in right. Ryan Braun not getting too much. Ryan Braun, there we go. Ryan Braun, what he's doing hanging out there in right, we'll never know. Adam leaned at first. Hector Gomez at second. Jean Segura at short. Aramis Ramirez at third. Jonathan Lucroy catching. Now, I didn't fix this part of it, so that's why you will still see some face gen, but normally this would just be a Pirates logo. All right, let me fix my options because I don't feel like managing at this point. So there we go. Now we got the computer managing both teams, and let's go. And here's the 3-2 pitch. And Pittsburgh's leadoff hitter, Josh Harrison, on board. And we look at Jay here. And brings up Francisco Cervelli's 1 for 11 in the season. Nelson rocks and fires. And the runner goes, and he had him by a mile this time. So Lucroy, 2 of 3 base stealers thus far in the season. Cervelli back in the box, the 1-2 pitch. Cut and a miss. Strike 3 on a fastball. So even this is so much cleaner up here now. More room for that play-by-play and everything. All right. Brings up Neil Walker now. Neil Walker hitting 176 in the young season. Here's the pitch. They have the shift on for Walker. He goes the other way and fly ball toward the foul line, and Davis has it. Okay, so the Buccos get a walk, and they get nothing else. We go to the bottom of the first. The Pirates nothing, and Milwaukee coming to bat. Andrew Lambo in left, Starling Marte in center, Corey Hart in right. Pedro Alvarez at first, Neil Walker at second, Young Ho Kang at short, Josh Harrison at third, Trevely catching, and Vance Worley on the mound. And he will be facing Carlos Gomez, hitting .333 in the season, including a home run and 5 runs batted in. Worley ready to go. He kicks and fires, the count full, and Gomez pops this one high in the infield, first base side, and making the grab there is Pedro Alvarez. So 1 up, 1 down for Milwaukee brings up Jonathan Lucroy. Lucroy off to a hot start, hitting .353 with an RBI, 6 for 17 overall. Worley rubs up the ball, peers in, has the sign from Trevely, the 3-1 pitch. Lucroy swinging on a pitcher's count, and Alvarez has it and underhands it to Vance Worley. So 2 up, 2 down for the Brewers here in the bottom of the first inning. Brings up Ryan Braun. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Steer right 3. So remember, we're playing in career mode in this. So you're not going to get exact lineups in career mode. We're not playing a replay mode in this one. All right, Starling Marte, Pedro Alvarez, Corey Hart due up. Nelson deals. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. So Nelson picking up the strikeout. And up here you can see what the pitch was, a slider. And again, if we want to turn on that pitch location widget, we can do that. So let's bring it up. There we go. Kind of fun to look at. All right, here's Pedro Alvarez waiting for his first homer. And here's the pitch. Full count on Alvarez. And this one hits Alvarez. So hit by a little fastball action there. Alvarez will trot down to first. All right, in there now is Corey Hart, making his first plate appearance of the season. The wind in the pitch, and this one ripped up the middle. Base hit, and Alvarez wanted to run through that stop sign, and they said, you just hang on there, son. So the Buccos with 2 on, 1 away here for Andrew Lambo. 0-1 pitch. Lambo swings, and this one a gapper in the alley and left all the way to the wall. Lambo's going to have an RBI out of this, perhaps 2. And coming home, Alvarez will score. Corey Hart will score. 2 RBI double for Andrew Lambo. And the Buccos lead this one 2-0 in the top of the second inning. So another one of the things I like about this game, as a content creator, is it's so easy to call this game. It really, really is. Young Ho Kang, what could have been. Too much drinking and other stuff, buddy. Excellent power, but just didn't quite pan out, man. 0-1 pitch, and Kang swings. This one popped high towards second, and after it is Gomez, makes the play. So 2 out. That one on a curveball, and here's Vance Worley. Lambo at second with that 2 RBI double. Here's the pitch, and he swings. High fly ball into right field, and Ryan Braun has it. Side retired, but the Buccos put 2 on the board thanks to the Andrew Lambo 2 RBI double to go to the bottom of the second inning. The Pirates lead the Brewers 2-0. Adam Lind will start, Adam Lind will start things off. Lind hitting .533 with a home run and 3 runs batted in. 1-2 pitch. You got to love the inflated stats of the early season. 1-2 pitch. Oh, nasty change up there by Vance Worley. So 3 fastballs, and then he pulls the chain. Here's Aramis Ramirez now. Ramirez, a former Pirate, former Cub, hitting .438 for ribbies. And the 0-1 pitch. Ramirez swings, and this one hit into shallow center field. Charging over is Starling Marte, and he makes the grab. So 2 down now for Chris Davis. Chris Davis hitting just .133, has a run batted in. Count full on Davis. Worley deals. Davis swings and, absolutely crushes this out to left. Line drive, but Lambo makes the grab. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on base. We go to the top of the third inning, and the Pirates leading the Brewers 3-0. Josh Harrison, we're back at the top of the order. So another thing the game still is not doing that that Action PC Baseball does, and people have asked for that, is they want to see what the batter has done. And I'm one of those people. So, in Action PC, when you mouse over the batter, you can see exactly what he did. Another one of its nice features is you can mouse over the line score and see see what plays, what actually happened. So you can't do that in action or in out of the park baseball. I'd like to see them add it, but it's not a deal breaker. All right, Jay walked his last time up and swung on. So you have to watch the play-by-play for that. Fly ball to center field, fairly deep, but Carlos Gomez tracks it out. Gold Glove center fielder there. All right, here's Francisco Cervelli. He's nothing for one. Fine catcher when he's healthy. Cervelli hits this one. Little tapper to short, getting down the line, but not enough speed. Segura up with it and over for the 6-3 putout. All right, here's Neil Walker now. Got to find a picture for Neil Walker. Nothing for one. 0-2 pitch, and Walker laces this one into left. This one should make the corner. Walker is going to stop at first, so not a lot of play. So Walker just staying with that slider there by Jimmy Nelson. Brings up Starling Marte now. He is nothing for one. Here's the pitch. Oh, my goodness gracious. So Marte challenged with the fastball, couldn't catch up. No runs, one hit, no errors, and a man left on. So we head to the bottom of the third here at Miller Park, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The Pittsburgh Pirates 2 and the Milwaukee Brewers nothing. We'll just play out this third inning and then auto-complete the game. All right, Segura, Gomez, and Nelson due up for the Brew Crew. Vance Worley with 2 strikeouts thus far. You're welcome, Nathaniel. Maybe we'll play a little longer because Nathaniel's here. Sinking liner out to center because he's a big Milwaukee Brewers fan. Starling Marte makes the grab. He says, "Go Brewers." All right, here's Hector Gomez with an RBI this season, hitting .250. 0-1 pitch on the way from Vance Worley. Gomez swings, grounded deep to second. Up with that one is Neil Walker, high throw. Alvarez able to pull it down for out number 2. Here's Jimmy Nelson, first plate appearance for him. The count, no balls, 1 strike. Nelson swings, and he rips this into left. Line drive, but right into the glove of Andrew Lambeau. No runs, no hits, nobody left on. And still 2-0 Pirates as we go to the top of the 4th inning. So Nathaniel's still here. And when he's around, try to do a Milwaukee Brewers game when I can. All right, Pedro Alvarez, Corey Hart, Andrew Lambeau do up to 5-6-7 for the Buccaneers. Jimmy Nelson has 3 strikeouts and 1 walk. And here's the pitch to Pedro. 1-0 pitch, and nope, didn't get his money's worth out of that one. Line drive to left. Davis pulling it in as he calls off Carlos Gomez. All right, here's Corey Hart, 1 for 1 in the ball game. And the 1-0 pitch. Hart swings. This one popped way high in the infield right-hand side. Calling everybody off is Hector Gomez. All right, 2 up, 2 down for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Andrew Lambeau with a 2 RBI double last time up. Count full on Lambeau. Swung on. This one should get down. Base hit. Nope, fooled me. So Gomez making the grab. So Pittsburgh goes in order, but still lead this one 4-0 as we head to the home half of the 4th inning. Back at the top of the order for the Milwaukee Brewers, Carlos Gomez, Jonathan Lucroy, and Ryan Braun do up. Gomez, 0 for 1 in the ball game. Vance Worley ready to deal. 2-0 pitch. Gomez cuts on this one, grounded deep to short, out, making a throw from the grass. Young Ho Kang making a grab for the 6-3 putouts. What a way for Jonathan Lucroy. 0 for 1. Count even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Swung on and miss. Fastball in there. So if you guys, you can see the pitches up here, but I kind of like having the widget here. I think it's really cool to watch pitch location, things like that. Great way to keep your eye on the starter. Obviously, you have the little gas meter here, a fuel gauge, I like to call it. But it's kind of nice to see how he's mixing things up here. So a little curveball, fastball, curveball. Then comes in with the slider on the 2-1 and then the 2-2 and yada, yada, yada. 1-1 pitch to Ryan Braun. Swung on, hard hit ground ball to first. Pedro Alvarez is going to feed that one on to Vance Worley for the 1-3 putout. So the Brewers go, or 3-1 putout. Brewers go in order. Top of the fifth, Pirates lead the Brewers 2-0. Young Ho Kang, Vance Worley, Josh Harrison due up for the Bucks. And here's the pitch. Kang swinging the first pitch. Tapper to second. And the other thing I'm hoping that you're noticing is that the game, the animations are this is the smoothest I've ever seen them. They look really nice. And we've been opening and closing all kinds of things in here. Oh, Worley looks at a called strike 3. This one and a nice fastball there by Jimmy Nelson. Better resolution on everything this year, just crisper. And again, if we were closer down, you could see really nice detail in the uniforms. All right, J.Hay Bass with 2 down. Harrison nothing for 1. And this one, soft line drive. No, this one gets all the way to the wall. So the outfield was pulled up a little bit for J.Hay, and he said, I'm just going to hit it right past you, and he does. So Pirates picking up an extra base hit, their second one of the game. So Harrison in scoring position for Francisco Chiavelli. Nothing for 2 for the Bucco catcher. Count 1 ball, 1 strike. Chiavelli swings and drills this into right field. Sinking liner right into the glove of Ryan Braun. So the Buccos threaten but do not score as they leave a runner in scoring position. Home half of the 5th inning. Milwaukee trails Pittsburgh 2-0. Aaron, I wish this game was accessible as well. And I know you've been riding that horse for, and I really wish it was. Wow. It's just an incredible, and I know that if it was, Aaron, for as well as you've done with Action PC Baseball and Baseball for Windows, you would have a blast with this game. All right, Adam Lind will lead things off here. Vance Worley with 3 strikeouts through 4 innings of work. And the 0-1 pitch. Lind swings and line drive base hit down into left field. Playing it on the bounce out there in left is Andrew Lambeau. Oh, and he's going to go in there. So Lind goes around and gets into second base. It's a leadoff double here for the Milwaukee Brewers. Tying run comes to the plate in the person of Aramis Ramirez, who's nothing for 1. Ramirez, oh, we got a wild pitch. Worley, are they charging a wild pitch? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And Adam Lind will make it into third base. Not a lot of speed there. So, all right, Ramirez back in the box. First Brewers potential run just 90 feet away. No hitter broken up, by the way. Vance Worley deals. 1-0 pitch. And this one cleanly stroked up the middle. Base hit by Aramis Ramirez. And then to score is Adam Lind. And the Milwaukee Brewers cut the Pirate lead in half here in the bottom of the 5th. It's 2-1. Chris Davis now at the plate. Gene Segura on deck. Chris Davis batting with nobody out and 1 on. Davis nothing for 1 in the game. 0-1 pitch. Davis swings. This one high, pop fly out towards second. Neil Walker will have that for out number 1. Gene Segura nothing for 1. 1-2 pitch on the way. Segura, hard hit ground ball to first. 3-6. And no, they do not get the 3-6-3 double play. So great speed getting down the line there by Gene Segura. No surprise to prevent that double play. So 2 down now for Hector Gomez. He is nothing for 1. Full count. Gomez swings. Fly ball center field. Back on it. And making the grab is Starling Marte. It's a nice catch out there by Starling Marte. But the Brewers pick up a run on 2 hits. They leave 1. Top of the 6th, Buccos 2, the Brew Crew 1. Neil Walker starting Marte, Pedro Alvarez due up. Neil Walker in the game is 1 for 2. Count full on Neil. Swung on, little number back to the, what do we got here? Little twisting foul ball. There we go. All right, records it for the first out. That was a new one. I've got to turn on the telestrator. That was a new kind of weird animation. But they're bringing that in, more physics into the game. So that was a strange one. All right, here's starting Marte. Marte, nothing for 2. 0-1 pitch. Cut on by Marte, and he's going to dump this little flare just into shallow left. 1 out single for Marte. That's the 5th hit for the Pittsburgh Pirates in this game. Brings up Pedro Alvarez. Big bat for these Pittsburgh Pirates. Looking at Alvarez and his numbers. In 2013 for the Buccos, 36 home runs. And last year in 2014 had 18. All right, Marte, excellent speed at first. Good lead with 1 down. Chance for the Buccos to add a little bit of padding. And this one in the dirt. Jonathan Lucroy pounces on it to prevent the speedy starting Marte from moving up to the Keystone sack. 3-1 the count, and it's going to be a wide one as they intentionally walk Alvarez. All right, brings up Corey Hart. He is 1 for 2, 2 on, 1 down for the Pirates. 2-1 lead, top of the 6th. 1-0 pitch. Corey Hart swings, and fly ball out to right field. Not a problem for Ryan Braun as he grabs it for out number 2. The runners hold for Andrew Lambeau, who has the big hits for the Buccos in the game today. Lefty in the box. Lambeau swings, high fly ball, left field, but perfectly played. Davis makes the grab. The Pirates strand 2. We go to the bottom of the 6th. 2-1. Pittsburgh, we have a pinch hitter now. Gerardo Parra will come in to pinch hit. So overall in the season, he's 3 for 8 with a home run, 2 runs batted in. Vance Worley, still looking good out there. The count, 1 ball and 2 strikes to Parra. Parra swings and drills this out to left field, and back on it is Andrew Lambeau, and he's going to have it close to the track. So 1 up, 1 down now for Carlos Gomez. We're back at the top of the Milwaukee order, where he is 0 for 2. Count even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Swung on. This one, high pop fly out at second. Neil Walker has it for out number 2. Vance Worley looking for a 1-2-3 inning here as Jonathan Lucroy settles in the box. He's nothing for 2. Here's the pitch. Lucroy cuts on the first pitch. This one hit out to deep center field, all the way to the wall for extra bases for Lucroy. As he goes into second, Lucroy is going for a 3-bagger, and the tag at third. He is safe. Triple with 2 outs for Jonathan Lucroy. That's the 2nd triple of the season. And here's Ryan Braun. 1-1 pitch on the way. Swung on, base hit, RBI, and the Brew Crew tie it up. Lucroy will come in to score. Ryan Braun with the RBI single. And we are tied, Nathaniel. We are tied. All right, here's Adam Lind. He is 1 for 2. Worley ready to deal. Doubled his last time up, Adam Lind. And this time, he's got himself another double. And here come the Milwaukee Brewers. Lind going for 2. Rounded third and holding. Over there will be Ryan Braun. So 2 in scoring position, 2 down for the Milwaukee Brewers. Brings up Aramis Ramirez. 1 for 2 with an RBI. The count even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Run scoring single last time. And Tapper to third. And throwing the strike over there is Jay on to Pedro Alvarez. But the Brewers tie it up. A run on 3 hits, no errors. We head to the top of the 7th. Buccos and Brewers knotted at 2. will be Kang, Worley, and Harrison. We'll see if Vance Worley will bat for himself. Jeremy Jeffress will come on now in relief for the Milwaukee Brewers. Let's look at Jeffress' record last year. So with Milwaukee, he was 1-1 in 28 2/3 innings pitched. Walked 7, struck out 25, a 1.88 earned run average. Good stuff, good movement, good control. And he's finished his warm-up pitches. Kang, 0 for 2, has yet to get a hit this season. Count full on the Bucco shortstop. And a little blooper there to first. And Adam Lean makes the catch for a 1 down. Vance Worley will hit for himself, 0 for 2. Bucco catcher, big a swing and a miss, chasing a sinker outside the zone. Nice pitch there by Jeremy Jeffress. 2 away, no way to frame that, just a bad swing by Vance Worley. All right, Jay Hay, 1 for 2, back at the top of the Bucco order, count even at 2 each. And this one, it's a nice little soft liner into center field, base hit. 2 away for Bucco catcher Francisco Cervelli. He is 0 for 3. And this one is going to be a wild pitch. This gets away from Jonathan Lucroy. And Jay Hay moves into scoring position. And they're sort of unhappy here in Milwaukee on that one. Jeffress needs to settle it down a little bit. 2 away. 2-2 is the count. Cervelli swings and rips this into left field. This will be a base hit. And Cervelli's going to have himself an RBI. Throw coming to the plate. And Cervelli just in there. RBI single by Cervelli, I should say. And brings up Neil Walker. Bucco has reclaimed the lead. It is 3-2. Neil Walker, 1 for 3. 2-2 count. Walker tried to hold up. They appeal down to third. They say he went around. The Buccos pick up a run on 2 hits, no errors, and a runner left on. And it is 7th inning stretch time here in Milwaukee. So I'm going to have a slug of water. Thanks for hanging in, everybody. As you don't see a lot of out-of-the-park games played on field on YouTube, and that's my favorite part of the game, that and the historical bits and bobs. All right. We go now to the home half of the 7th, and the Pirates in the lead again with a 3-2 margin. And it'll be Chris Davis, Gene Segura, and Hector Gomez to Chris Davis, 0 for 2 in the game for the left fielder. Vance Worley staying in there. Clint Hurdle having a lot of faith in his hurler. 0-1 pitch on the way to Chris Davis. Popped out to Neil Walker's last time up. Davis swings. This one going foul down the left field line and in foul territory right near the stands is Andrew Lambeau, and he will make the grab for out number 1. Here's Gene Segura now, 0 for 2. Milwaukee looking for great things from Segura this season. Grounded out back in the 5th. Segura will send this up the middle, base hit. So he took that changeup, just stayed right with it, and Segura, a dangerous base runner. 6th hit now for the Milwaukee Brewers. 1 away, runner on for Hector Gomez, who is 0 for 2. 2-1 the count. Gomez swings, and this one scorched hard down the line and left. This one bouncing around the wall out there. Gomez is going to not have himself an RBI, however. He was eternally. Just saw the stream. How's the game? Going to get it soon. Absolutely love it. It's improved in so many ways. And just waiting big time for Mike Silva's ballparks and uniforms mod. So welcome in, man. Definitely try to get it while it's still 10% off if you can. But welcome into the family, Rabid Wolverine. Good to see you, man. All right, here's Ryan Braun batting with 2 in scoring position, 1 down. The Brewers trailing by 1, 3-2 here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Vance Worley working out of the stretch. Here's the 2-2 pitch. LeBron swings, and this one, high fly ball to left. Will it be deep enough? It will not. Lambeau makes the grab and the quick snap to hit Young Ho Kang to keep Segura at third. Supreme speed. Segura at third, and Hector Gomez, no slouch at second. All right, here's Carlos Gomez batting with 2 down, and Tony Watson will come on in relief for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Test this game for a while. Been around since the very first. You and me both, brother. 1999, buddy. God, I couldn't wait. Remember, it came on CD. It came on a CD. Out of the park baseball. I know I have that first version somewhere. I just to try to get it running again in DOSBox. Who knows? Have to try it sometime. So good, man. Another OG OOTPer, man. Nice. All right, big at bat here for Carlos Gomez and a big pitch for Tony Watson. Let's look at his stats. So you notice here, Rabbit Wolverine, what's new on this call out for these players. You get to see their ratings along with a better stats display. Needed it. Yep, the old CD. Remembering you had to use a separate program to keep historical stuff. Yep, you sure did. But we played it, buddy. How about it? Baseball heaven. Yeah, isn't that cool? And that's with any player. Just to be able to see these ratings at a glance and then their stats. This, and I like the fact, as you can see here, I am showing the pitch widget. I'm kind of liking this a lot more now. I like the fact that the score's up here, line score is down here. It kind of opens opens things up a lot more, I think. All right, Tony Watson, the lefty, works out of the stretch to Carlos Gomez. Gomez has yet to get on base in 3 attempts. And the lefty deals. Gomez swings in the first pitch, grounded to first, and fed over Alvarez, flipping to Tony Watson covering. Milwaukee threatens, but they leave 2 in scoring position. We head to the visitors' half of the 8th inning. Bucco's nursing a 3-2 lead right now. Yeah, it's and you got to remember, there's still going to be patches coming. These guys patch this game like crazy. Wouldn't be surprised tomorrow I get home from work and there's going to be a patch. All right, Josh Hader will come on now in relief for the Milwaukee Brewers. Looking at Hader's records, back in the minors in 2014, he was 1-1, 20 innings pitched. 16 walks, 24 strikeouts. So here we go. He will face starting Marte, Pedro Alvarez, Corey Hartz. Lefty ready to go to starting Marte. The count, no balls, 2 strikes. Marte looks at a called strike 3. So Hader bringing the fastball. Yeah, there's always been some great patches. They do a fantastic job. This is Rabid Wolverine. The dev team is great, but the testers are awesome. Well, I'm one of them, so thank you. But there's guys in there like Mike Garland and P. Stricker and Mike Silva. They test this game just crazy. I just get enchanted with it and test it that way, and test it from the way of just a player. Although I'm really just really this version is amazing this year. It really is. There's a few things I would like to see the game do better, but wow, they just keep improving. Everybody's worrying when Marcus kind of resigned the the top spot. This game is in great hands with Matt Arnold and Will Bay and everybody at Out of the Park Developments. All right, Pedro Alvarez leading things off here. I'm sorry, not leading things off. Second batter inning, Marte is out. Count full on Alvarez. And this one missing inside, high and tight. So slider missing there by Josh Hader. Alvarez, no speed at first. Corey Hart, 1 for 3. Count full. Flew out his last time up and struck him out. Corey Hart chasing that time on a fastball. And up there on the gun, too. And here he is. We've been waiting for him. Andrew McCutchen. Need to get me a picture of Andrew McCutchen. So you're a commissioner. Oh, oh, that's okay, man. I've seen your posts. Love your posts, man. So I know who you are. I'm Beatles eternally when I show up, though. I'm still double A minor leagues on there, man. But I'll be looking for you. Cool. Ran a league for a long time, too. So you were around when Spo's fan site was around and Sports Sim Central and uh, Padres fan, all those. Remember all the great baseball sites? So we got an OG for sure in here. Excellent. All right, here's Kutch. Gotta say, editorial comment: the Bucks doing Kutch some dirt this year. We should have kept him in Pittsburgh in some capacity. He loved Pittsburgh, wanted to play his entire career over there, for our ball club. But I mean, look, I know we got this great new talent, but he's playing minor league ball for the Rangers. Come on, guys. Give Kutch his last season. Besides, we got all these young bucks in there. See if Connor Griffin's actually. I think they're going to be starting him in AAA. But I mean, Kutch, he's one of those intangibles I think you need, and I'm very disappointed. I'm very happy that Charrington and Nutting made some great offseason moves for Pittsburgh, but that was no way to treat Andrew McCutchen. So you remember all of them. Yep, had a site on someone's league page. We went for 14 seasons. Everything fell apart. No. So, Rabid Wolverine, let me tell you, there's no such thing as hijacking a broadcast or a stream here. The idea is I want people to just interact, talk about what they've done, what they're doing, whatever. There's no hijacking. Enjoy. The game is actually secondary. This is just all about all of us just having fun and a shared love of baseball. And as this is the only sport I love, it's especially a wonderful thing for me when folks are in here and just enjoying it and talking about their own projects. So no, you didn't hijack anything. Please talk, type, whatever. We even have people on the mic. Sometimes we have chin wags, baseball chin wags. So hope you'll come back. Be a member of the family because it's a family here. All right, here's Kutch. 2-2 pitch. And McCutchen sends this one high, but not terribly deep to left. And Davis has it side retired. Bucko's still holding on to this 3-2 lead as we go to the home half of the 8th inning. Ask you a question. Someone turns you on to a new Cards and Dice. Ever play National Pastime? National Pastime is a very cool game. And a guy that comes in here every once in a while that you want to talk to is Clinton Parks, because he's a big fan of the National Pastime series. Plays National Pastime 3. It's a game I want to get into, but right now it's a little bit expensive. And my thing is I'm a completionist. So, have you? Let me shoot back to you, brother. Have you checked out the? It's still in beta right now, but Payoff Pitch. It's looking great. Looking great. Did a broadcast the other night. Probably do one this weekend. Yes, National Pastime is free. Yeah. Love it. National Pastime Next Generation Plus every season. It's awesome. Then there's National Pastime 3, which is like you've got to buy seasons for it. And I just bought a car, so you're going to pick it up on day one. Oh, yeah, I'm even offering somebody a season of their choice in a digital baseball game. Just show me your proof of purchase and you get a free season. And I have nothing to do financially with that game. It's just amazing. Just amazing. Love it. By the way, for anybody that watched that the other night, I did ask in the beta testing forum when or if, like, what's the deal with the pitcher's cards, because we saw Rick Rushell steal a base, and I have a better chance of marrying Kate Beckinsale at this point. All right, here's Jonathan Lucroy. He's 1 for 3 in the game. Triple back in the 6th. Lucroy swings on a 2-2 pitch. Little grounder to hang it short. And that's a routine 6-3 putout. 1 up, 1 down. And we have a pinch hitter now, Martin Maldonado. Let's look at Maldonado's numbers. All right. So in 2014 with the Brew Crew, 4 home runs, 16 runs batted in, and a .234 average. Looking at these ratings here, he's got a pretty good eye up there. Tony Watson ready to deal. Count 2-2. Maldonado pinch hitter thus far and pops this one high out to center field. And Andrew McCutcheon, who will stay into play center field, puts it away for out number 2. Here's Adam Lean. Good day at the plate for him. He's 2 for 3. Count even at 2-2 for Lean. Swung on. Tapper to second. And coming in there and making the grab is Neil Walker. Drops the ball and off the mark. Let's look at that one again. So we still see some of the weird little artifacts that will sometimes happen. But the moonwalks are getting less and less, thank God. But let's look at this on just a regular replay. So a little bobble out there. Score that one E4. Walker should have gotten to this play, but rushes his throw. Alvarez able to keep the ball around him. Adam Lean could have chugged his way to second. All right, pivotal at bat right here for Aramis Ramirez and for Tony Watson from the hill. Yeah, the moonwalks, they're funny, right? Foul balls that go into the I haven't seen that this year yet. But I'm sure I'm going to see it. But I am seeing a marked improvement in a lot. They've worked hard again on the animations this year. Ramirez cuts on the first pitch, bouncer to short, and Tony Watson gets out of it. How about that? So the error does not get Mr. Walker in the arse, and we go to the top of the ninth, and the Milwaukee Brewers are going to bring in Will Smith. So looking at Will Smith's record here, he's got good stuff. Average movement, average control, if that. 2014 for the Brewers, he was 1-3 with a save. He worked 65 2/3, walked 31, struck out 86 with a 3.70 earned run average. Young Ho Kang. We'll see if Tony Watson bats for himself, and then we swing around the top of the order to Josh Harrison. So they don't bug you like you do in some of the forums. Yeah, they're cool. They're fine. It's still, there's no perfect baseball game out there, but man, oh man, they're just doing it up right. All right, Southpaw deals. 0-2 pitch now to Young Ho Kang. Lined out to first back in the 7th. And big cut on, big swing and a miss. So got fooled by that changeup. And we have a pinch hitter now, Sean Rodriguez. Let's look at Rodriguez here. So played last year in Tampa Bay in 2014. Saw action in 96 games, had 12 home runs, 41 runs batted in, and a 2.11 average for him. So here we go. Lefty Will Smith to deal. We count 1 ball, 1 strike to Sean Rodriguez. And Rodriguez pops this one way up towards second on the infield grass, coming in, making the grab. There is Hector Gomez. When we go to the Milwaukee ninth, we'll see Davis, Segura, and Hector Gomez. All right, Jay, we're back at the top of the order, 2 down. Harrison 2 for 3 on the day. 0-1 pitch, singled back in the 7th. Harrison scorches it to first. Wow, but Adam Lean cut that BB. The Bucks go in order to the bottom of the 9th. We go, and Bucco closer Mark Melanson will come on now. He will face Chris Davis, Gene Segura, and Hector Gomez. Let's look at Melanson's numbers. In 2014, Melanson went 3-5, 33 saves, 71 innings pitched, 11 walks, 71 strikeouts, and a rather impressive 1.90 earned run average. So Melanson, very important part of these 2013, 14, and 15 Pittsburgh Pirates. Made it to the postseason 3 times, but got knocked out early in the dance. Chris Davis, 0 for 3. Count full on Davis. Melanson ready to deal. He flew out to left his last time up. Melanson deals, and splitter in there for strike 3. Gene Segura, 1 for 3. Count even, 2-2. Melanson deals. Segura chases one out of the zone. So that one a little knuckle curve job, and it's down to Hector Gomez. Can he keep it going here for the Milwaukee Brewers in the bottom of the ninth. Count full. Swing and a miss. This one is going to get by Cervelli. The throw to first, and they got it. And that's the ball game. This was a hell of a good ball game, I gotta say. Let's look at our recap here. Brewers nipped by Pirates 3-2. So baseball fans saw a good contest between the Pittsburgh Pirates and Milwaukee Brewers. Brewers went down to defeat to Vance Worley and his Pittsburgh teammates. Final score 3-2 in favor of the Buccos. Milwaukee is 3-2 after the loss. Pittsburgh used the timely hitting. We got it's a little weird artifact there, guys. So hopefully they'll patch that up. Using the timely hitting of Francisco Cervelli to seize the win. The catcher stroked a run-scoring single at the top of the seventh inning to put the Bucks on top, 3-2. It was his only hit in 4 at-bats, but it was a game changer. So the Pittsburgh Pirates improved to 4-1. The Milwaukee Brewers fall to 3-2. And always love their box score, yeah. And just how this is just written and catches those little key points in the game. And I love these graphs too. They just do it right. They really, really do it right. The Buccos, 3 runs, 7 hits, 1 error. For the Milwaukee Brewers, 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors. Your player of the game is going to be Vance Worley. Went 6 2/3, 7 hits, 2 runs, both earned. Struck out 3. Tony Watson came in, worked an inning and a third. And then Mark Melancon picks up his second save of the year. So Nelson started 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Jeffress tagged with the loss, so he goes to 0-1, worked an inning in relief, gave off an earned run, struck out 2. Hader came in, worked an inning in relief, and fanned 2 Buccos, and Will Smith fanned 1 in 1 inning of relief. So there we go. Triples, the best damn hit in baseball. Jonathan Lucroy had the lone triple in this game. Josh Harrison was caught stealing. 1 error on the Pittsburgh Pirates side. Neil Walker, no steals for the Brew Crew, and we lead the game. And hey, look at that. 1, 2, 3 struck out the side. There we go. This is another thing I like is the new team schedule screen, and to be able to look at see where just everybody is at a glance. So next, after we finish, we go to Detroit, or we host Detroit, and we can see that they're tied for 9th in runs, a 2nd in average, tied for 5th in home runs right now. Again, early in the season. So playing some pretty damn fine baseball. They're 3rd in the AL Central right now. So, but what I like to do is go in here and find other fun games to play. So I don't just play. In fact, I rarely play Pirates games on here. Of course, they kept a lot of the great things here, like performances of the day and stuff like that. And we can see our upcoming schedules and just great stuff. Once again, out of the park, in my estimation, has pretty much knocked it out of the park. And we are just in that platinum era of baseball simulations. We still have Payoff Pitch waiting to come out for release in April, waiting for Digital Diamond Baseball. Do I have it set to a smaller print? No, I don't. I've been beta testing it, and I didn't change any fonts. So, but fonts are not only you can use other fonts, but they are scalable and sizable, what have you. So, usually Rabbit Wolverine, I play older baseball. My wheelhouse is kind of the dead ball era. But I love modern baseball too. But especially like the 1970s, that's like second to dead ball. That's probably my favorite decade of baseball. But I'm waiting for Mike Silva's ballparks and uniforms mod before I start jumping back into the before times. Smaller but looks great. Yeah, everything just looks really just crisper. And you have it, so I'm sure you've looked at like all the stats and just everything that's just in here right now. This of course stays the same, but the uniforms are looking better. You can even see this right now, but in the game you see it. Look, even on the arms, right? The player models are starting to look. Everybody still looks the same. But uh, just everything in this game is looking so nice, and it's playing like a champ. It really, really is. Yeah. So, um, it's just that what I've been trying to impress upon people is just don't be afraid of this game. Just click around, have fun, look at things, and that's Out of the Park Baseball. So this overview of Out of the Park Baseball ended up to be 3 hours and 15 minutes. So you're doing a fictional league now. So are you doing this with fictional players, or are you using it like with fictional teams and real players, or how are you doing that? Because again, that's something uh, that you can do. I love the stories here. So here we have history was made today at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Mark Burley won game number 200 to seal his name in the league record book. So again, as you guys, I've shown you before, these milestones that you can do in out of the park baseball. Charter raced down the Baltimore Orioles 8-3 to gain entrance into the Elite 200 club. And then you get a little quote that he actually didn't say, but that's okay. And just there we go. Kershaw sends San Diego bats to deep freeze. It just does this. I miss this. D. Scott Howard's fictional everything. That's cool. D. Scott Howard says he missed this. He was playing out of the park 27. What a coincidence. Welcome in, D. Scott. So Rabid Wolverine says he does a league and sim it for 30 years to get to 2025, then start. Wow. I've never done that. I tend to just stick with Major League Baseball because there's just so much. Love the fact that you can just click on a game that's going on there in a ticker and get a look and have fun. And again, just remember this button down here, all your recently viewed screens. Uh, and you can't get lost, folks. You really, really can't. So there was our Major League schedule and logs. I've never really looked at logs too much, but there we go. Just this is kind of like the same as it's like a stripped down version of the league newspaper, which I really, 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 really love it. So great, great stuff. And even you can write your own news, which is really, really cool. So that's it, guys. There's so much more to show, but it's going to be information overload at this point. Let's go back to the start screen. So way to go, guys. Once again, this and this even the splash screen. I said 3 hours ago when I started this that I think Out of the Park Development's really making a statement this year with this edition. I've never there's look back on all your editions. If you have like me and like Rabid Wolverine, um, look at the splash screens. They have never looked like this, and I think they're saying, okay, we're up in the game, and they really have. Does the sign and release bug still happen a lot? So the only reason I don't know that that's because I really don't play as a GM. I play as a field manager in this game, and as commissioner because I like to set up a lot of what if leagues and things like that. So I haven't seen that because I don't play. I don't play that. If I'm creating things, I'm going to do more things like a McGreevy league a Michael McGreevy league that we have coming up, which is a draft league of players from 1871 to 1919. And I just do mass player import and I just want to create things. I'm not really much into the GM part. And so I tell folks, if you really want to get into that part, plenty of people out there that really that's the only way they play out of the park baseball. For me, I like playing baseball that way. So couldn't tell you. And I usually do about 5 minutes here before when I say I'm going to wrap up. So my faith, I'm Eastern Orthodox Christian, and so what we do is, if you ever go to an Eastern Orthodox service, you hear the priest chant, "Now let us complete our prayer to the Lord," and that means there's another 45 minutes. I don't know if the Hall of Fame stuff has been added yet for this year. Yeah, so there we go. We got some of the Hall of Fame stuff. And the game does have its own Hall of Fame as well. And there's the kid, Gary Carter. Why don't we just leave Gary Carter up here in his actual Hall of Fame plaque? So that'll be the last thing people see. Any other quick questions I can answer just about Out of the Park? I will. Yeah. And then, of course, the game has its own Hall of Fame thing, too. But I love this partnership that they have with the Baseball Hall of Fame. There's going to be adding a lot more again this season, too. So, they're really striving to give you such a complete baseball experience. And the way this game plays dead ball baseball just right out of the rip is just absolutely incredible. Dawson still show the Expos. Let me see. There used to be, was there a player? So they need to do a player search in this because there doesn't seem to be any sort of rhyme or reason to any of this. So there's a way to look at the Hall of Fame in here, but I don't know that we can actually see his. Yeah. So guys, please give us a little search button. Yeah. Which would really be nice. So, but we're not seeing everybody yet, which pretty obvious that we can see that. But there is, if we could, but let's load this game back in again, and I'll show you something else you may not be familiar with. This is pretty cool. If we go to League History and let's go to Hall of Fame. So this would be the Hall of Fame up through, and it didn't bring in the pictures the way I wanted it to. There we go. There we go. So you're not seeing their actual plaques here, but there's a really nice mod out there that actually has filter inductees. Jeez, I forgot that we could do this too. Jeez. So you're inducted. Name. So would you say Andre Dawson? Oh, the Hall of Fame means the Cubs. Let's see. Let's just boink. Yeah. So there's one that somebody made. There he is. There's the Hawk. But that's not going to show his. This would need to link to the Hall of Fame plaque once they have it up there. But you can do voting history and stuff like that. So if you're not familiar with this is an edition, I think, last year. So everybody in here and how they were voted in by Baseball Writers Association. I don't think that any of these were Veterans Committee. So I think you're just seeing the guys that were just voted in. I'm not sure what that is. And then this would just be all the inducted players here. So you would just keep going and what have you. Yeah, the modders for Out of the Park baseballs, they are. They we have Mike Silva, right, with his ballparks and uniform mod, and we got A.S. Revkin with his ballparks, Blue Rose Case with embroidered logos, and what Cheech does with the with the player photos and stuff like that. I'm not a face gen person, so it's great stuff here. And boy, a lot to look at forever and ever and ever and ever. You gotta love it. There's Pudge. There's old Pudge, Carlton Fisk. So, yeah. There we go. There's all kinds of wow. So this is another one of those screens you can get just lost on forever. And these are all real players, and we're just looking at retired players right now. And they're black ink, they're gray ink, what have you. So Lefty Williams, we know why he is out of baseball. There he is, 1920, his ending career. Yeah. You are very welcome. I hope you pick it up, and I hope you come back in no matter what game we're playing. Come on in, talk some baseball, whatever. And with that, guys, we have gone 3 hours, 3.5 hours. So normally I say goodnight to everybody, but it's going to take an hour to do that. We had a great crowd in here tonight. Thank you very much. And still at the end of this long-winded broadcast, still 19 people hanging out. I really, really appreciate you very, very much. We'll be, oh, thank you so much, Rabbit Software. It's really the content of all of you, all of us together that make this goofy baseball channel happen. So we'll be doing some more tutorials about out of the park baseball. We'll revisit player import again and all kinds of stuff like that, and how to create custom leagues and just go deep. All right, guys, until the next time we meet, I will see you around the batting cage.